Hello everyone, my dear followers. Today I want to welcome you to the third chapter of What If Naruto Discovered He Had a Long-Lost Daughter with RIAS GREMORY. Remember, if you want more chapters, just leave a comment, no matter what it is. Now without further ado, enjoy.
Chapter 18 Raiding Game Part 2 Konohamaru, looking at the map, first of all, do you have the Moegi shinobi coats? Moegi takes them out of a roll. I never go out without them. She hands one to each of her companions. They were completely white so they could camouflage themselves with the snow. Here you go. Udon puts it on. Thank you very much, very good. Now it's time to examine the whole area. Konohamaru, according to the map, there are 7 snow-capped peaks scattered throughout the area, the largest being in the center. Moegi, we must use the snowy tips to decrease the distance to them. Udon, shall we use that? Konohamaru, if we want to knock them out of the air, we have no other choice. Our ranged attacks are kunai and fire and wind jutsus, things they're partially immune to, and in this weather, they'll be reduced to nothing. And water jutsus will freeze before they even touch our enemies. We have no other option. Besides, we can use ice and snowstorms for camouflage. Moegi, look down, guys. The two turn around and look down the mountains. Apparently, not the entire area is the stage. If we cross that line, we'll be eliminated from the competition. Udon, apparently the scene is portrayed exactly like a chessboard. Crossing that line is leaving the board. Konohamaru, guys, our best way to win would be to knock them off the stage. Moegi, that will be difficult considering they can fly. Konohamaru, that's true, but I know what we can do to get them out easily and have some fun with them at the same time. They both pay attention. Guys, do you remember when Naruto told us about how he was able to hit Kagaya in their fight? Moegi and Udon already knew what was going on. Udon, this is going to end very badly. Konohamaru, hey, they're cheating with this scenario. They know this is one of the worst scenarios for us, and here we are in the middle of the damn snow on snowy peaks. Besides, if Aniki says anything, I'll take all the blame. Meanwhile, with Raiser, I don't usually worry much about my opponents, but this time it's different. If the 4 Mao are so defensive, it's for a reason we don't know. Ravel, but what's the problem? They're only 3 kids, they're even younger than me and I'm the youngest here. Raiser, 3 human children RIAS trusted blindly. Think about it, sister, do you think she'd send 3 kids just for the hell of it? She's arrogant like any of us upper-class folk, but she's not stupid. If she let those 3 kids defend her, it's because they're hiding something. Ravel, so, what do we do, Aniki? Raiser, look, Sharia, Bulant, Marion, Eni, Lu, Lee, and Nell, you will be in charge of examining absolutely the entire area. If the information you gave us is correct, those kids were trained as assassins. Even though they can't fly, it doesn't mean they won't take advantage of this snowy, mountainous terrain to knock us out of the air. The pawns nod. Shualan and Isabella, you will take care of the boy with glasses. Both rooks nod. Cirrus and Carlomeyer, you take care of the girl. Both knights nod. And Maihi and Ravel, you take care of the boy with the scarf. Both bishops nod. Yubalana, intervene if you see that your companions cannot handle their targets. Intervene in the combat. Yubalana, understood Raiser-sama. Raiser, hold nothing back, go in with the full intention of taking them out of the fight as quickly as possible. When the time limit for the kings to intervene has passed, I will help you end this as soon as possible. All, yes. Raiser, we will definitely win. With the Mao. Surzex, let's see what humans in this reality are capable of. Beelzebub, I've never seen you so defensive in my life, Surzex. It's not like you. Seraphol, you won't be afraid of them, will you? Surzex, no, but, if my sister trusts him so much it's for a reason we can't ignore. If 3 13-year-old boys can defeat Raiser and his entourage, we can get an idea of their power level. Asmodeus, you're overthinking it, you might be overvaluing them. Beelzebub, who knows, that human wasn't intimidated by our presence at yesterday's meeting, in fact, he even mocked us a couple of times. Seraphol, not forgetting that she spoke with such confidence, I wonder how Rias-chan managed to establish a relationship with them. I hope it wasn't solely because of the girl. Surzex, we'll ask him that when this is over. With Rias, Venelana, worried they might lose their daughter. RIAS, no, I know Konohamaru, Moegi and Udon will win this. Zeoticus, and then what? Why that face? RIAS, I'm worried about how they're going to win. This confused her parents. Naruto calls himself the ultimate jester of the elemental nations, and they're his students. I'm worried they'll just humiliate them instead of defeating them outright. Zeoticus, if they do that, our relations with the Phoenix clan will become strained. Venelana, let's hope they don't do that. Issei, come on, President, everything will be alright, he'll be free soon. RIAS sighs and smiles at Issei, nodding. Presenter, alright, ladies and gentlemen, the rating game is about to begin. Remember that the king can only intervene in the fight after 30 minutes have passed. On 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. At that moment, the force field that held the teams was dissolved. RIAS's pawns began to fly to observe everything from the heights, 4 close to the ground and another 4 higher. The rest of the pieces were waiting for when the kids were located. In contrast, Konohamaru, Moegi, and Udon began to move at maximum speed, examining the entire map and hiding from their opponents camouflaged with the snow. Thanks to the blizzard that was happening at that moment, their movements went unnoticed. If there was a sensor between them, they made sure it couldn't sense their chakra by suppressing it as best they could, since they weren't used to doing so. RIAS is located between the 2 smaller snowy peaks, while his entire entourage is positioned geometrically throughout the area searching for them. When Moegi saw that no one was looking in his direction, he used air jutsu to make the blizzard more violent. When they felt the current of energy, they turned in that direction only to realize that there was no one there. Moegi was doing the same thing at different points in the area to divert the demons' attention. They began blindly attacking the places where they felt gusts of wind, since the blizzard prevented them from seeing clearly, especially when it was coming in their direction. Meanwhile, amidst the confusion, Udon and Konohamaru began placing special seals made with the help of Cheyenne, the high priestess of the land of demons, using shinobi threads among the snowy peaks. Without knowing why they asked to learn something like that, but since it was Naruto's request, he didn't care much or at all. Udon placed the seals exactly as instructed, and Konohamaru connected them with the help of 6 shadow clones. At that moment, Moegi was about to be discovered and replaced herself with a pile of snow to hide in the snow. Cirrus, damn brats, they're just making fun of us. Shuelon, it doesn't matter, if they want to fight us, they'll have to show their faces. Moegi, I can't distract them anymore, there are too many eyes to deceive. Konohamaru, don't worry, we're finished. Now we need to eliminate RIAS's queen, since she's the one who will cause us problems with her explosion magic, and then her sister. Leave those 2 to me, I need them to distract the others. Are the bottles ready? Udon, do you doubt it? Konohamaru, alright, let's move on to phase 2, the 3 nod their heads and begin to take their positions. Look, I'm getting desperate, where on earth are they hiding? At that moment she is hit with a snowball, causing everyone to turn in her direction. Udon stands atop one of the snowy peaks, holding 3 snowballs in his hands. Hey girls, what's up? Look, finally, one of you shows up, damn it, she couldn't finish because she was hit by the second snowball. You think you can hurt us with a snowball? How pathetic. I hope you're ready to lose. She charges directly at him. At that moment, Udon throws the 3rd snowball, but unlike the other 2, this one goes with all his might. I already told you that a snowball won't do anything. Isabella, look, wait. Mira didn't even bother to dodge the snowball, which was her fatal mistake, as her face began to melt. Look, what is this? The demons in the dressing rooms noticed and were surprised that the snowball was covered in holy water due to the harmful effect suffered by RIAS's pawn. Sona, I see, she camouflaged the holy water with the snow, using the first 2 as decoys so the 3rd would hit without problems. When her companions are about to go help her, Udon throws the 4th one which passes slightly above her, making the spectators think that she had missed, but nothing could be further from the truth because the 4th snowball had a bomb label that at the moment it is exactly above her it explodes, throwing Mira out of the air and into the void. The explosion was large enough to create a smokescreen, preventing them from saving her from the fall in time, and she was taken off stage. Presenter, this is how RIAS-Sama's first pawn is taken out of the fight. Udon at that moment hides again. Shuriya, damned brat, she looks in the direction where he was and flies straight to look for him more closely. Marion, wait, it's a trap. The warning came too late, as at that moment a metal rope shot out from beneath her, trapping her, and then Udon threw 4 bomb papers from the side directly at RIAS's pawn. These detonated on contact, knocking Shiroya out of the fight. Presenter, here's another one. Isabella is not going to allow Udon to hide again, so she goes straight towards him. Udon notices this and throws 10 snowballs at her. Isabella dodged them all while protecting herself from them, thinking they might contain a bomb like the one that knocked Mira out. She thought she had escaped them, but unfortunately, all the snowballs were connected with ninja threads, and Udon, with a gesture of his hands, moved all the threads, enveloping Isabella and immobilizing her. Isabella, damn it, this was the original plan. Udon, we ninjas are a Pandora's box, you don't know the horrors that will come out of it. Yubaluna, seeing that her companion had been trapped, without hesitation, launched her explosive magic directly at Udon to free her. Take this. The attack was directed straight at Udon. Udon moves it with all his strength to make the explosive magic impact against Isabella, knocking her out of the fight. Udon releases the ropes and hides again. Presenter, incredible, the boy eliminated 3 pieces, 2 pawns and a rook in 2 minutes. Yubaluna, you damned vermin, using my partner as a shield. Without wasting any time, Moegi comes out of her hiding place and throws 4 kunai with shinobi wire directly towards the 2 pairs of twins who are distracted by what had happened to Isabella, piercing each of their legs and wrapping them with the wire. Cirrus, don't get distracted, stupid girls, charges directly towards where Moegi was to free her companions. Moegi dodges Cirrus's slash and leaps over her, placing herself atop the 4 pawns. Cirrus refuses to be humiliated like this and uses her magic to generate a powerful gust of wind directly towards Moegi. Thanks to the information provided by Kiba, he takes his jacket and uses it as a glider using Cirrus's gust of wind without letting go of the cables. Larafaga was so strong that he dragged the 4 laborers who were still suffering from the stab wound in their leg, and the pain increased as they were pulled so abruptly in that way. Yubaluna, this time they won't protect themselves from my attack. She prepares her explosive attack, but this time it's twice as powerful and fast. At the moment he is about to launch the explosive magic towards Moegi, Konohamaru kicked his staff, changing the trajectory of the spell so that it hit the other 2 pawns who were wearing maid outfits. The explosion was so violent that it knocked his companions out of action. Yubaluna, damn kid. Konohamaru uses Yubaluna's staff to leap back to the snowy peak. Your magic is a double-edged sword, ahaha. Yubaluna attacks Konohamaru directly with another explosive magic, but he manages to dodge it thanks to his speed and camouflages himself with the snow again. Shuolan charges directly at Udon with a high kick that he blocks with his arm. She stands in the snow and they begin to exchange blows. Carlomine charged directly at Moegi, who was still rising, slashing him squarely with his sword, making him smile. But his smile was short-lived, as a puff of smoke revealed that what he had cut in half was his jacket, which was holding a huge frozen rock that looked like it had recently been cut from the snowy peaks, and to which were tied the cables that held Isle, Nell, and I, and Lee. This rock began to plummet, dragging the 4 pawns with it. They began to resist the weight of the rock, but that didn't last long, as a couple of explosive tags detonated in a coordinated fashion on the pawns' wings, taking them out of the fight and rendering them unable to fly. Announcer, this is incredible, ladies and gentlemen. 6 pawns eliminated in 2 moves. Does Reiser-sama's entourage stand any chance of winning against these beasts? Serafal, the combat skills of those children are astonishing. Graphia, no wonder Ria-sama trusts them so much. Sona, they constantly use their opponent's abilities against them. Issei, that's it, guys, you already have victory in the palm of your hand. Asia, do your best, guys. Reiser's knights began looking in all directions to find Moegi, who was replacing her coat since the cold was unbearable without one. Unfortunately for Moegi, the air attack cut some parts of his body, leaving a faint trail of blood that both knights detected, allowing them to discover where he was hiding. Moegi started running from them while dodging the constant magical slashes of their swords. Cirrus, we won't let you hide again. Yubaluna, Maihi, help Shuolan take down that bastard, we'll deal with the scarf guy. Maihi, understood. Maihi approaches Shuolan and begins to use support magic, making Shuolan move faster and more agile. This forces Udon to become completely defensive to avoid being knocked down by the tower. He begins to cover his entire body with chakra to match Shuolan, who is being helped by Maihi. At that moment, Seeing that 4 of the 6 remaining demons were being distracted, Konohamaru puts his plan into action to eliminate Yubiluna quickly and efficiently, also as revenge for her having chosen this frozen place. Konohamaru uses the Shadow Clone Jutsu to create 10 replicas of himself that separate, covering the entire stage. With the help of his coat, all the clones jump so that the air of the blizzard propels them forward in the direction where Yubiluna was. Yubiluna, a cloning ability, you'll need more than that to get close to me. Yubiluna began using explosive magic on each of the clones that approached her dangerously, but none of them were the real one, as the real one had replaced himself with a clone to jump on top of her and shorten the distance in a single leap, and began to fall on top of Yubiluna. Naruto started sweating profusely. Don't tell me you're about to do what I think you're going to do. Kurama, oh, he's going to do it, kid. Yubiluna, you're an idiot, you just gave me a free shot. Konohamaru, not as I see it, makes a hand sign and creates several clones, and these clones also make hand signs. Yubiluna moves back in one swift motion, enough to be 3 meters away from him and strikes him point blank with a fire spell characteristic of the Phoenix clan. Fall, you damned brat. Konohamaru smiles arrogantly just like his clones, Oirokyaku Harimu no Jutsu. Before Yubiluna could unleash her fire magic, a puff of smoke emerged from him, covering his entire body. Yubiluna, a smoke screen won't save you. The moment the smoke screen disappeared, Yubiluna was in total shock upon seeing 10 highly sexualized, handsome, sensual, and completely naked men in front of her where Konohamaru was. The men in front of her began to speak in a sensual and perverted way to Yubiluna, causing her to blush intensely and suffer a nosebleed. Yubiluna's allies didn't notice because they were focused on Moegi and Udon, except for Ravel who blushed intensely and tried not to see the scene, completely forgetting that they were fighting. All the men in the Colosseum were stunned and disgusted to see the 10 men in front of RIAS' queen. In contrast, the women present, the most perverted, suffered nosebleeds, while those who were more indifferent to this suffered a blush intense enough to be seen on their faces. The married women tried to ignore the scene, but failed miserably. Venolana couldn't hide her blush, leaving Zeoticus speechless. RIAS knew about Naruto's sexy jutsu, but she didn't know he had aversion for women, so she was caught off guard and also affected by the technique. Sona was in the same condition, but she didn't know it, taking her by surprise and being even more affected than RIAS. Naruto began to slump in his chair as he felt the murderous glares of all the men present, especially the married ones. Naruto knew he could defeat all the men present, but he didn't want to start a stupid fight because of the reverse harem jutsu. Although he was proud of Konohamaru for successfully applying the technique, it wasn't the right time to use it. When the inverted harem jutsu was less than a meter away from a Yubiluna paralyzed by her lust, Konohamaru undid the technique with a Rasengan in hand. Konohamaru, do this. Rasengan directs his attack straight at Yubiluna's head. This caused all the demons in the dressing rooms to snap out of their moment of distraction due to the technique Konohamaru used. Yubiluna snaps out of her trance too late, feeling the full force of the Rasengan on her face. It detonates, covering Yubiluna's entire upper body and propelling her downwards. At that moment, Konohamaru uses his legs to jump and reach the nearest snowy peak before falling off the stage along with Yubiluna. Announcer, RIAS-Osama's queen was eliminated from the fight. By a most unusual technique, these humans are a box of surprises ha 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 ha. Konohamaru makes the peace sign upon seeing that the most troublesome one has been eliminated. The sexy jutsu never fails ha 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 ha. At that moment his eyes widen as he sees a huge fireball approaching him dangerously from an angry and hysterical Ravel. She barely dodges the attack and begins to move in a zigzag pattern, dodging all of Ravel's attacks, who is not holding back in the slightest, completely enraged by the disgusting technique she used against Yubiluna. Meanwhile, Udon, seeing that RIAS' queen was already out of action, proceeded to eliminate Shuolan and Maihi. With a quick flick of his wrists, Udon replaces himself with a pile of snow to position himself sideways, not before throwing 2 of the 4 bottles of holy water he had left into a pile of snow behind him, charging directly towards Shuolan. Shuolan, you're not fast enough to take me by surprise. Shuolan performs a full-force side kick, supported by Maihi's support magic, against Udon, who was replaced with snow covered in holy water. This caused Shuolan's entire leg to start burning from the holy water. Udon, without wasting any time, grabbed her other leg, pulling it and placing a horizontal hook on her jaw. While she was in the air, he grabbed her head and legs and delivered a knee strike to her spine. This caused Xuelan to groan intensely in pain. Maihi casts a rescue spell towards Xuelan to get her out of there, but got a huge surprise when she saw that the last 2 bottles of holy water from Udon that she had thrown when she dodged Xuelan for the second time with the substitution jutsu. They were directed towards her from her right side, being pushed in favor by the air of the blizzard, hitting her in the face, and she began to scream in pain. At that moment, Udon throws Xuelan with all his strength against Maihi, but not before placing 2 bomb papers on Xuelan's clothes, which detonate when they hit Maihi, taking both of them out of the fight. Announcer, Udon San has finished with the 2nd rook and 1 bishop of RIAS or Sama, only the 2 knights and 1 bishop remain. This is reaching its climax, friends. Udon, well, this took a little longer than I expected, but everything turned out alright. I'll examine the last letter. With Moegi. Moegi is still barely dodging the thrusts of both girls as she is constantly attacked from both sides. Cirrus, stop moving, you damn worm. Carlomine, and the worst part is that he doesn't even bother to attack us. Both of them make a horizontal thrust with their swords in opposite directions directly at Moegi's torso. Both attacks strike Moegi's body, only to be disappointed to find they've been pierced by a pile of snow thanks to Moegi's substitution technique. Cirrus, damn brat, she's using that disgusting circus trick again. Moegi appears behind her with a kunai in hand that had a bomb tag hidden in the handle of the kunai, and begins to charge towards them, hiding the other hand in which he had 2 bottles of holy water. Carlomine, you finally decide to attack. She and her companion charge directly towards her. Moegi throws the kunai towards them, which they block easily, and at that moment she detonates it. Both knights manage to cover themselves from the explosion, thinking that her weapon would do the same as the snowballs. The explosion forced them both apart, creating a smokescreen between them. Moegi seized the opportunity presented by the confusion she had caused to directly attack Cirrus. She realized that Moegi was going directly against her and launched another cutting air attack against Moegi. Moegi makes hand signs and raises a wall of rock from the ground to protect herself from the cutting air, since receiving that attack a second time could be fatal. Carlomine rejoins the fight and charges directly at Moegi, unleashing a downward attack from behind the wall she had created just to avoid encountering anything. Upon hitting the ground with her attack, the rock wall Moegi had raised contained a bomb, which she detonated in the distance, hitting the demon squarely in the back. Carlomine was injured by burns and unable to use her wings due to the explosion, but her connection with the Phoenix clan accelerated her healing. Moegi wasn't going to give her that chance, and with another hand seal, she raised the rock wall, pushing Carlomine into the ravine, which she couldn't yet get up from due to her injury. She begins to fall, but is saved from the fall by Cirrus. Moegi did not hesitate to jump on top of them while they were in the air and smashed the 2 bottles she had in her hand over Cirrus's head, making her groan in pain and blinding her, but she refused to let go of Carlomine. Moegi took the other 2 that remained in the air and threw them into his arms so that he would release Carlomine, who fell face down on the cliff, and he also ended up dropping his sword due to the effect of the holy water. Moegi returns to the surface of the snowy peak and throws a hunting net directly at his wings, causing him to lose his ability to fly and fall to the cliff, leaving the fight. All of this happened in a span of 30 seconds. Presenter, so ladies and gentlemen, the 2 gentlemen's pieces are eliminated, only Reiser Sama and Ravel Sama remain. Moegi, damn air blast, it ruined my hair. Ravel, stop dodging my fireballs, you damn pervert. Konohamaru, if you were affected by my technique, you're just as perverted as I am. Ravel throwing more fireballs, shut up and accept your painful, disgusting, and repugnant punishment like the monkey shit you are. Konohamaru gets angry when he hears her insulting the monkeys, me feel pain. He makes a gesture with his hand in denial while dodging another fireball, you will feel the real pain for daring to speak like that about monkeys. At that moment, he starts running directly towards Ravel, causing her to become frightened and fly higher while continuing to attack Konohamaru with his fireballs. Konohamaru gathered many snowballs from the ground and dipped some in holy water. Then he began throwing them over Ravel to prevent her from climbing any further. The last snowball has a smoke bomb inside, intended to scare Ravel into thinking it was an exploding snowball. Ravel noticed that the last snowball was not directed at her but over her, scaring her into thinking it was another bomb like what had happened to her companion. Ravel quickly descended to the ground when he saw the snowball explode, but was surprised to see that it was only a huge smokescreen. Ravel, you damn monkey, I'm fed up with your cheap games, She looks in his direction and her eyes widen when she sees he's gone. Where are you? Konohamaru began to smile in the most devilish way possible, while kneeling. I'm behind you. At that moment Naruto turned pale upon learning what Konohamaru was about to do, and he hadn't thought he would be so bold as to use this technique against a girl. Konohamaru, without giving Ravel time to react, launches himself directly at her. Konohamaru, laughing like a true monster, secret finger jutsu of the Hidden Leaf Village, 1,000 Years of Death, uses the technique with a direct hit, where his fingers made sure to torment Ravel's back without any remorse. Ravel began to experience the greatest pain she had ever felt in her life as she was catapulted off the stage, but not before a bell rang at that moment. All the demons were stunned by such a technique, especially the women who felt Ravel's pain psychologically. RIAS and Sona wanted to know if Naruto was the one who taught her such a disgusting technique. Naruto felt so ashamed of Konohamaru's actions that he wanted the earth to swallow him up. Now he understood Kakashi and Irika's shame at their antics. Presenter, ouch, that must have hurt. These guys don't know the meaning of the word mercy, hahaha. Now only Reizar-sama remains. Konohamaru, name, but sometimes I'm one thing, but Barbara, hahaha. At that moment he dodges a huge burst of fire that came out in his direction. He moved to the snowy peak in the center of the map. Ouch, ouch, I almost got burned. Reizar, finally, the damn half hour is over. I couldn't be more disappointed in my entourage. I'll have to train them all day long without a break for the next 3 months as punishment. As for my sister, you'll pay for defiling her like that, you disgusting monkey. Moegi and Udon tried to meet up with Konohamaru, but Reizar blocked their path with a huge phoenix-shaped flame as they were leaping towards the snowy peak where he was. Both Udon and Moegi wanted to use the air to glide with the help of their coats, but Reizar burned both coats with a second bird. In a desperate move, they threw a kunai with a wire towards the rocks of the snowy peaks, but Reizar cut off any chance of returning to solid ground, generating a huge blaze that melted the wires and the kunai in the process, knocking them down the ravine. Presenter, this is incredible. Reizar-sama killed 2 of Naruto-san's 3 students out of the fight. Now only 1 remains, making this a duel. This greatly worried RIAS, as now everything depended on Konohamaru. Issei, will Konohamaru be alright on his own? Kaneko, he doesn't look worried. Kiba, at the beginning they were seen setting a trap that they never used, it's probably a trap for Reizar. Asia, but Reizar-sama easily eliminated his companions. RIAS, if they have a plan, then they should execute it already because Reizar's face indicates he has no intention of being merciful. Moegi, I'm sorry Naruto Aniki, we didn't expect your fire magic to be so powerful and so fast. Udon, it was a huge oversight on our part. Naruto, don't worry guys, let's let Konohamaru handle this. You set the trap correctly, right? They both nod, then it's just a matter of Konohamaru not messing things up. Reizar spreads his phoenix wings in all their splendor. I took pity on your companions, but I will make you suffer for what you did to my sister. Konohamaru smiles arrogantly, come on if you dare, grilled chicken, because in front of you stands the future 8th Hokage of the Hidden Leaf Village, Konohamaru Sarutobi. End of chapter. Chapter 19 Rating Game Part 3 *. Reizar, as if I cared about the insults of an inferior species. It doesn't matter that they can use chakra, they still have the same weak and insignificant bodies. Their lifespan is among the most mediocre of all intelligent species, not to mention their limited stamina. I'm sure the Crow and RIAS wanted to make them believe they're on par with us, but the reality is that humans like your master are few and far between. Konohamaru, and what do you know about our potential? In the end, you just live in your own bubble. Reizar lied about it, since it was this strange individual who visited his house yesterday who told him about them. I don't need to leave the comfort of my home to realize that, chakra or not, they are still human, they are still the most insignificant species of all. Konohamaru, if you keep judging a book by its cover, sooner or later you'll get killed. Reizar, that's the best part, the Phoenix clan is almost immortal, our regenerative ability is the most powerful not only among demons but among all species, while we shine with the most intense, powerful and destructive element of all, fire. At that moment, great flames erupted around Reizar's body. Konohamaru listened meticulously to Reizar's words and actions, causing him to sigh. Before we begin, I want to ask you a question. Reizar, I couldn't care less about the question from an insignificant cockroach who came here to play the clown with such repulsive techniques that you used against my queen and my sister. I intend to make you cry blood for that. Konohamaru, play the fool. He chuckled slightly, confusing RIAS, and then his face turned serious. I didn't come here to play the fool, quite the opposite. I'm treating you with the respect you deserve. RIAS, transforming into naked men and pushing my sister around like that, is that the respect I deserve? Are you mocking me, you damned vermin? Konohamaru, no, haven't you really realized? The way I eliminated your queen and your sister was for the sole purpose of eliminating them as quickly as possible, as well as wasting the least amount of chakra. Yes, my methods may be questionable, but not my results. I eliminated your queen with 3 techniques that I use so easily and that cost me almost no resources. I already eliminated your sister directly without spending anything. All with the purpose of being in the best condition to fight against you. Strategically speaking, we were at a disadvantage the entire time, from this snow-covered mountain terrain, to their numerical superiority, their energy reserves, and especially, as you mentioned, your and your sister's regenerative abilities. We couldn't afford to waste our resources foolishly. In this scenario, it was you and your entourage against the 3 of us. Ignoring them until you appeared would be stupid, as they would be supporting you throughout the fight. Therefore, before you appeared, we had to eliminate them in the fastest and most efficient way possible, but above all, using the fewest resources possible. We even went to the trouble of having holy water prepared, to use our energy with you. The best way to eliminate the key piece is by removing all obstacles. That's why I used those techniques against your sister and your queen. They're idiot hunting techniques that allow you to catch any unsuspecting player off guard, and thanks to them, we didn't have to exert ourselves to defeat them, so I'm as fresh as a daisy. And I haven't even used my best cards yet, I've just saved them especially for you. All the demons in the room, after a moment's thought, reached the same conclusion. The techniques he used to quickly eliminate them from the fight were questionable even to them, but it was an undeniable fact that they were completely effective in removing Yubaluna and Ravel from the way efficiently, effectively, and above all, quickly. As a result, the fight now depends solely on RIAS's combat abilities. The demon's perception of these humans changed in a positive way, because if a 13-year-old boy was capable of reasoning in that way, it meant that his qualities were far superior to those of the humans in his reality and that it might be worthwhile to establish a friendship with them, even if it is in the long term. RIAS, alright, tell me, what's your question? Because after I answer you, I'm going to put an end to this nonsense once and for all. Konohamaru, tell me, for you, what does fire symbolize? RIAS, where are you trying to go with this? Konohamaru makes several hand seals. The Hidden Leaf Village is located in the land of fire. Fire is the greatest emblem of our culture, and I want to see what it represents for you, especially for you. RIAS sighs irritably. Fire is the element of power, it is the force that is above all others. Fire is capable of reducing everything to nothing. As long as the flames are alive, they will consume everything in their path. That is why we phoenixes are birds made of fire, because we have the power to consume everything we touch. Those who have the power of fire running through their veins are the only ones who can call themselves kings, and those who don't are merely servants. The Phoenix clan doesn't need such misfits. If anyone in my family were that weak, I would eliminate them myself. Such mediocre beings don't deserve to exist. Konohamaru, is that all? RIAS, smiling arrogantly, said, what? Didn't you like my explanation? Well, that's a shame, because that's the only truth about fire. Konohamaru, I see, that's a shame. Your answer has only shown me that you don't have the capacity to be a leader, much less the head of your clan. RIAS, what did you just say, you vermin? Konohamaru, at that moment, patted his chest, enveloping himself in a layer of smoke. Before the smoke dissipated, he performed the summoning jutsu on the ground, increasing the thickness of the smoke screen and making everyone alert. You heard me, he said. You're not qualified to be a clan head if that's your mentality. The curtain fades away, drawing everyone's attention, as Konohamaru was wearing a completely different outfit. It was still a shinobi uniform but had samurai features. Note, it's like the third Hokage's uniform but more modernized and optimized. But what really caught everyone's attention was the monkey next to him, posing with Konohamaru. With dark skin, long white hair and mustache, and the Konoha headband on his forehead, He wears an orange and brown striped jacket over basic shinobi attire that covers his arms and legs. He has hair on his hands, forming a kind of glove, and goes barefoot. Enma, so this is the little bird you told me about. Konohamaru, that's right, Enma-sama, he's the heir to the Phoenix clan and I have to teach him manners. Enma, in that case, count me in. At that moment Enma transforms into a staff that Konohamaru catches with his hand. Let's teach the little bird what the will of fire really means. Reiser, will of fire? He laughs, what the hell are you talking about? Konohamaru, there's no point in explaining it to you, even if I told you with drawings you wouldn't understand. Someone so blinded by the smoke you create will never understand the meaning of those words. He gets into a fighting stance showing his incredible skill with the staff. Reiser, okay, I'm tired of this nonsense. Reiser is about to use one of his best attacks when suddenly Konohamaru activates the trap with a hand signal he had set with the help of Udon and Moegi. The entire stage began to shake frantically as all of Cheyon's sacred seals began to glow intensely, causing rock bridges to emerge from the snowy peaks and connect with each other. All the demons were confused about what was happening on the stage. When the snowy peaks finished connecting with these rock bridges, 6 enormous pillars appeared at the edges of the stage in a hexagonal shape, and from them came a wall of energy connecting them to each other. Reiser, what the hell is going on? At that moment his skin begins to burn. What the hell, my body is burning. Konohamaru smiled broadly. I think I was clear, he began, pointing with his cane. I saved the best cards for you. These structures are known as the Shogun's Prison. Reiser, Shogun's Prison. Konohamaru, here, the demons of my world are punished for their crimes. Thanks to these pillars, the entire area has become sacred ground, which is why your skin is burning. It's a gift from the High Priestess of the Demon Kingdom, a country dedicated exclusively to dealing with your kind in my world. What did you think we were doing for the first 15 minutes when you couldn't see us? Consider yourself lucky this technique isn't quite right, because in a shogun's prison built by exorcists, you'd already be writhing on the floor. Reiser, completely enraged, begins attacking Konohamaru with his best long-range fire attacks. Konohamaru began to dodge with all his agility and speed the intense flames that melted the rock of the snowy peaks as he approached Reiser. Reiser moved away from him, as the constant pain he was feeling from Shogun's imprisonment prevented him from thinking clearly, making hand-to-hand combat impossible. Konohamaru wasn't going to let him get away. He put Enma on the ground pointing towards Reiser, and at that moment Enma began to stretch forward at great speed to get closer to Reiser. Seeing that Konohamaru was closing the distance between them, he decided to launch a powerful stream of flames towards his location, realizing that he probably had no way to dodge it. His surprise was another when he saw Konohamaru use Enma as a springboard and from the skies summon a clone which he uses to launch him with a Rasengan in hand, while it spun on its own axis making it look like a spear. Reiser unleashes a blazing fire against Konohamaru's clone with the intention of destroying it with one hand. But his eyes widened as he saw his attack being pierced by the Rasengan of Konohamaru's clone. Seeing that it was a few meters away from him, he was forced to use both hands to eliminate the copy. The original is caught by Enma in mid-air, returning to solid ground, causing him to grimace in disgust. At that moment, Konohamaru creates a clone that remains stationary on the rock bridge while the original begins to run at high speed towards one of the pillars and proceeds to climb, while still dodging the barrage of fire birds that Reiser was launching from his fingers. He positions himself at the same height as Reiser and places Enma on the pillar horizontally, allowing Enma to jump with great power alongside Konohamaru against Reiser. Instead of launching the flame, Reiser summons the tails of the phoenix from his back and launches all his feathers like blades, then proceeds to launch a huge fireball behind his first attack. Konohamaru throws all his chakra-charged kunai to repel his feathers, and when he sees the fireball approaching, his clone makes the Enma clone he has in his hand stretch out to create a platform for Konohamaru, which he uses to jump and dodge the attack, while also shortening the distance between the two. Konohamaru, being within range, takes Enma as if it were a baseball bat and swings it perpendicularly downwards to hit Reiser in the ribs and push him away. Reiser wasn't going to wait to be hit, so he started to back away, but the short distance he was from Konohamaru didn't give him enough time to do so, and Enma began to stretch out and at the same time grew large enough to be the same size and thickness as Reiser, hitting him head-on. He is launched directly towards the other clone who jumps and prepares to knock him off the stage. RIAS recovers quickly and destroys Konohamaru's clone by roaring at him with a fiery scream at point-blank range. At that moment, RIAS decided to climb to the very top of the stage and right in the center of it. To prevent Konohamaru from having many opportunities to approach him, he completely destroys the snowy peak in the center, as well as the highest rock bridges, with his best attacks, causing him to gasp a little. Konohamaru landing on his feet on one of the rock bridges, his wings are a problem. Enma, you don't have to throw it out of the sky. Konohamaru, and why is that? Enma, his healing ability consumes energy. No matter how powerful his regenerative capacity is, he still feels pain, so he will eventually tire and succumb to the stress. Konohamaru dodges RIAS's phoenix-shaped attacks, but Shogun's prison also constantly consumes a lot of my chakra, not to mention he still has his phoenix tears that he's allowed to use. Enma, at the distance he's put from us, it will be impossible to get close. He knows that in hand-to-hand combat he will be defeated, so the only thing left for him is to attack us from a distance. Phoenix tears only heal his wounds but not his fatigue. Besides, you still have your food pills that recover your fatigue and chakra, albeit artificially. Therefore, Konohamaru blocks the last two flames with Enma, it's my resistance against theirs. RIAS felt the pain caused by the burning desire he had for the Shogun's prison begin to intensify due to the stress he was generating. He tried to destroy the pillars that supported the jutsu, but in vain, as the technique suppressed any other technique that attempted to be used with the intention of destroying it. Shogun Prison was created to eliminate all the demons found within. Therefore, if RIAS wanted to stop feeling his body melting, he had to win the fight as soon as possible, but he wasn't stupid. Fighting hand-to-hand would be too risky, so he would opt to fight from a distance as much as possible. He still had the phoenix tears with him. RIAS began to create bursts of small flames with both hands in the direction of Konohamaru, maintaining the greatest possible distance. Meanwhile, Konohamaru focused exclusively on dodging their attacks while using as little chakra as possible. When RIAS began to perform the most powerful techniques, Konohamaru began to block, deflect, and even return them to RIAS thanks to Enma's chakra control. This lasted for 10 minutes. Seeing that this was getting nowhere, RIAS began destroying the rock bridges to eliminate Konohamaru's movement space. Upon seeing RIAS's intentions, Konohamaru began to defend the bridges as best he could. There were a total of 30 bridges connected between the snowy peaks and between them, leaving only the 6 main ones that connected to the central snowy peak, which was almost destroyed. Both were already starting to pant from exhaustion, and Konohamaru noticed that RIAS's healing was indeed 10 times less. It was barely noticeable that he was healing from the burns caused by Shogun's prison. The problem was that he no longer had chakra. He was forced to use the food pills. With RIAS, Asia, look at Konohamaru-san's exhaustion. Kaneko, she has reached her limit. Issei, this is bad, if he doesn't do something to knock it out of the sky he'll lose. RIAS, come on. You can do it. I know you can. With Naruto, and now what will you do, Konohamaru? Moegi, come on Konohamaru, you can do it. Udon, crash it against the rocks. Back in the fight. Konohamaru, damn it, if only I could fly. Thoughtfully, I can't reach him at that height. If I try to climb with Enma's help, the bastard just changes position. RIAS, are you giving up already? As long as you can't fly, you'll never be able to catch me. Konohamaru, at this rate, I'll give in before him. I have no other choice, I'll start using the pills. Choji said that as long as I don't use the red one, my life won't be in danger. So I'm going to risk it. I'm tired of this fight. Konohamaru took from his shuriken pouch what looked like strange black pills. Konohamaru, fed up with this fight, takes 5 pills, worrying Naruto. Sona, what could those things be? Konohamaru correctly places the shinobi headband. Konohamaru uses the shadow clone jutsu, simultaneously creating 30 of them. Konohamaru, I'm fed up with you and your cowardice, I'm coming for you, all the clones shouted in confirmation. Everyone started running and climbing the 6 pillars of Shogun's prison, 5 per pillar. RIAS watched intently as the boys' clones all rose at the same time, so he unleashed his best attacks, which were the fire birds that chased his opponents. The clones above block RIAS's attacks while the others prepare to jump. The first clone of each pillar embedded Enma horizontally into the pillar so that the other 4 clones could jump upwards, and the one at the bottom used the ones above as trampolines while blocking RIAS's constant and desperate attacks. At that moment, the last two clones of each pillar launched themselves with all their might, using Enma as a catapult to reach RIAS. The clones heading towards RIAS had Enma ready to attack. Feeling cornered, RIAS uses his wings and magic charges to generate a field of fire around himself to destroy all his attackers, which he succeeds in doing. However, Konohamaru is not going to give up so easily, as instead of trying to defend himself from the attack, he receives it while covering his body with chakra. RIAS thought he had gotten rid of them, but his eyes widened in surprise when he saw that one of them did not disappear, indicating that it was the real one, burning in various parts of his body from having received the full force of the attack. Konohamaru performing a Rasengan, "You're mine now, little bird," Rasengan. Konohamaru strikes RIAS in the head with the technique, sending him straight into the void. With what little consciousness he had, RIAS uses his phoenix tears to recover from such a blow and avoid falling off the cliff. He tried to regain height, but the 4 clones of each pillar prevented him by hitting him all at once. Throwing him into the precipice again, RIAS managed to grab onto one of the rock bridges and climbed onto it. He wanted to take flight again, but he had Konohamaru clones surrounding him. So instead of trying to fly, he waited for them to approach and used his phoenix tails again like blades to cut through them, destroying 18 of them, leaving only 5 and the original. He wanted to use his firebirds, but then he felt his hand being split in half by the impact of the original Enma, making him groan in pain. The original Konohamaru with Enma stand in front of RIAS while smiling at him. "Konohamaru, this is over." RIAS tries to defend himself with his other hand while the other one is regenerating, but it too is destroyed by a swift move with Enma. "Konohamaru, let's get to it, guys." The 5 clones appear to attack him, but RIAS uses his wings and makes them explode in a burst of flame to destroy the clones. As the smoke dissipates, Konohamaru appears and delivers a series of blows with all his strength using his staff, knocking him to the ground and causing him to spit blood. "Konohamaru, give up, you've already lost, even your arms are taking too long to heal, you're at your limit." All RIAS did was stand up and spit on him, which made Konohamaru very disappointed. Konohamaru, I guess arrogance to the end, cracks his neck and charges at RIAS. SDI tries to defend himself by spitting fire from his mouth, which Konohamaru simply deflects with Enma until it reaches him again, drilling him with blows from the staff until he crashes against the pillars of the cage. "Konohamaru, thank you for your help, Enma, but it's all over now." "Enma, give me the details later, kid." Enma disappears and Konohamaru walks with Rasengan in his hand. "Last chance, say, I surrender, and it will all be over." However, RIAS just glares angrily at Konohamaru, causing him to sigh. "What stubbornness, well, it's not like I feel bad about doing it." He runs towards RIAS to deliver the final blow, Rasengan. The technique was about to be unleashed when Ravel stepped in, tears in her eyes, causing Konohamaru to stumble and destroy the bridge, bouncing across the snowy ground. "Are you crazy, woman? I almost killed you." "Ravel, stop, you've already won, look at him, he can't even see you anymore, we lost, we gave up," pleading while crying harder. "Now. Please stop." Konohamaru sighs upon seeing Ravel's tears. "It's not necessary anyway, my intervention automatically gave me the victory, but if my words make you feel better then it's fine, I accept your surrender." Konohamaru tries to leave but falls on one of his legs. "Damn it, those food pills." Ravel was about to say something, but Naruto came in to take him off the stage. Presenter, Ravel-sama had already been eliminated from the raiding game, so, having intervened in the fight, the Phoenix clan is disqualified. Therefore, the humans from the other world are the winners. The clans began to applaud the humans' victory respectfully. At that moment, the artificial stage dissipated. RIAS is happy about Naruto's student's victory as she is free from that engagement forever, but she cannot show it as she is much more worried about Konohamaru's physical condition. She and her entourage are going to check on Konohamaru's condition. "RIAS, is he okay?" Naruto, "Yes, but it's best to take him to a doctor. Consuming 5 pills of tense food can have negative long-term consequences for his entire body." Konohamaru, "Okay, nothing will happen." Is hit by his partner. Moegi, "Don't act tough, idiot." RIAS, Asia. Asia, "Yes, President." Asia asked him to let him sit down and began using her sacred gear to cure all of Konohamaru's ailments. Konohamaru, "Wow, I feel like new, better than Moegi's medical ninjutsu." Spurred on by his partner's ribs, annoyed by the comment. After that, they were joined by Zeoticus and Venelana, returning to the Gremory house. After everything is alright, RIAS, very good, we have to celebrate Naruto's team's victory. Akino, where would you guys like to go? Udon, I don't know, you guys recommend. RIAS, I know the perfect place, follow me guys. Everyone follows RIAS to celebrate this moment of freedom. But the same could not be said of his parents, as well as Naruto, since they were more concerned about what would happen from now on regarding the relationship with the Phoenixes and the new relationship with the underworld in general. In the end, Zeoticus and Venelana gave up and left it for tomorrow. Venelana joined her daughter in her celebration, while Zeoticus forced Naruto to accompany him for drinks, as what had just happened could cause him many problems in the future with his relationships, not only with the Phoenix clan but with everyone in general, due to his relationship with RIAS and what had just happened today, for better or for worse. For the first time in his life, Naruto agreed to drink even though he knew he was bad with alcohol, so he proceeded to use Kurama's chakra to burn off as much of the alcohol as possible, because of what happened today and because he didn't want to be rude to his daughter's grandfather. RIAS wanted Naruto to join them, but realized too late that his father had already taken him away, but she is not surprised to be aware of what may happen from now on. Naruto doesn't want to, nor does he intend to, take this relationship with the demons of this reality any further than he already is with the Gremory, but something told him that this was only just beginning. Meanwhile, elsewhere. Strange, yes, RIAS kept his word. Now the whole world will be watching these humans. I have to keep pushing, make allies and even friends with these humans to gain access to their world and finally free my lord from his prison. I just have to press the right buttons. And speaking of pressing the right buttons, he snaps his fingers and a demon with a voluptuous body appears beside him. Secretary, has my master invited me? A short demon girl with pale skin, red irises, a black tail with an arrowhead tip, and silvery white hair. Her hair is wavy and unruly, with several noticeable swirls scattered without any particular pattern. She has a left-swept fringe that stops at eyebrow level, as well as two long strands of hair in front of each ear that fall to her chest and end in a zigzag shape. Although her irises remain red, instead of black pupils, she has luminescent white pupils in the shape of a heart, and under her eyes there is a blush that is always visible, although its intensity varies. Adorning his head are two simple black horns pointing upwards, as well as many small red hearts that float perpetually around him. Stranger, yes, can you call Lord Phoenix and ask him to meet with me? Tell him it's of utmost importance and priority that we get together. I have something very important to tell him that can heal this recent wound more quickly. Secretary, understood, my lord, disappears from a magic ring. Strange, I've already waited 1,000 years, waiting a few more months won't hurt me, after all, patience is the virtue of the powerful. End of chapter. Chapter 20. This is just the beginning asterisk. The next day, Zeoticus, and remember Naruto, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Naruto, are you sure you want to keep it? Zeoticus, if you don't want RIAS and my wife to rip our heads off, it's best if this stays between us. Naruto, this is why I don't like alcohol. Zeoticus, the problem isn't alcohol, the problem is that we abuse it. He shakes his head, we better change the subject or someone will notice. Naruto, I agree. Zeoticus, very well, come with me to my office. I'm sure Czar Phoenix will call us any moment about yesterday's disaster. That apology at the end for Konohamaru won't be enough. Naruto, I figured as much. So, what do you think he'll ask us for in exchange for the raiding game? Zeoticus, I don't know, but we can't lose our relationship with them. Phoenix tears are irreplaceable, you never know when one of their bottles might save your life in a critical situation. That's why all the clans take great care of their relationships with them. Naruto, is that why they arranged the engagement? Zeoticus, it's not because we wanted to force our daughter into marriage, but to maintain closer ties with the Phoenix clan and regarding the pure demon bloodline. But well, in the end my daughter got her way. Naruto laughs nervously a little. Anyway, that's all in the past now, it's time to focus on keeping them intact as much as possible. Naruto, and what do you think they might ask for? Zeoticus, knowing them, they can ask me for anything, but that doesn't mean I'll give in so easily, since they depend on our security systems. Naruto, security systems? Note, the following information is not canonical as there is no real information regarding the Gremory family. Zeoticus, most of our businesses are security systems, for companies, homes, ruins, sanctuaries, etc. My wife has jewelry and mining companies, but that's a separate issue. Our relationships with the other clans are based on security systems. Naruto, I understand now, that's why they can't ask for something so freely. Zeoticus, who knows, maybe they'll overlook it and not ask for anything, but that's unlikely. He enters his office, Naruto following behind him. Anyway, please have a seat. Zeoticus sat down in his chair while Naruto took one of the guest seats. He checked his inbox and realized that no messages had arrived yet. Zeoticus, they haven't sent any yet, but this is the time when the Phoenix clan usually sends messages. It'll arrive any minute now. Then the message arrives, see? I'm even a fortune teller. He activates the message on speakerphone. Czar, good afternoon Zeoticus, you already know the reason for this message, but you will be pleasantly surprised to learn that our professional relationship will not be affected by yesterday's events. This made Zeoticus sigh with relief. However, our personal relationship will be affected due to the actions of Uzumaki Naruto's students, now that he is officially your son-in-law. Specifically due to the actions of Konohamaru Sarutobi. Therefore, to resolve anything that might negatively affect either of us, we would like to request an audience with the leader of the Sarutobi clan regarding these actions. I understand that any clan relationship requires the presence of its leader, so we would appreciate it if you could suggest a date for a possible meeting, if you agree. It could even be today, so we can resolve this as soon as possible. The message ends. Zeoticus, this is new. I wasn't expecting these kinds of requests, but if I think about it a bit, it makes a lot of sense. Naruto, what makes sense? Zeoticus, Naruto, what is the behavior of noble families like in your world? Naruto, until a few months ago, I was officially given the title of leader of the Uzumaki clan. For most of my life, I lived alone, with little authoritarian influence. What I know, I learned through missions related to it, so I'm mostly unfamiliar with the behavior of noble families. Why the question? Zeoticus, because personal image is very important to the noble and royal families of this reality, some families even become obsessed with it. And what your student did to defeat his daughter, well, the story speaks for itself. Naruto sighed in frustration, realizing where this was going. And what do you think they could ask the Sarutobi family for? Zeoticus, no idea, it could be anything, but they're not demanding it anyway, so the decision is up to you. Preferably, do it as soon as possible, the Phoenix are a bit impatient. With that, he proceeded to pour 2 cups from his special reserve, one for himself and one for Naruto. Naruto, if I accept, the Sarutobi family will be involved in this problem, but if I don't, the GREMORY and Phoenix relationships will be constantly strained, even to the point of harming each other. Zeoticus places the cup in front of him and thanks him. What a disaster, if only you hadn't used the 1000-year death jutsu, Konohamaru, we would have avoided all these problems. After thinking about it a little more, he comes to a conclusion. Zeoticus-san. Zeoticus, tell me. Naruto, could you please tell the Phoenix clan that we will accept your meeting today at 6 p.m., at the Phoenix compound? Zeoticus, very well. He picks up the phone to speak directly with Czar Phoenix. Naruto summons a toad to deliver a message of utmost importance to Kakashi and Konohamaru's father, summoning them to meet with the Phoenixes today. Naruto writes a detailed explanation of the reason for the meeting. Czar agreed immediately, and they would have everything ready for the meeting. Naruto and Zeoticus finished off a bottle in about an hour talking about trivial things, and then the toad returned with a message from Kakashi and Konohamaru's father indicating that they would be ready for that meeting. It was only a matter of waiting. Zeoticus separated from Naruto as he had things to do, and Naruto proceeded to meet with Konohamaru, who was already recovered, but was ordered to stay in bed due to constant heart palpitations, a side effect of the food pills in someone so young. Naruto, Konohamaru, hey Aniki, what's up? Naruto, I need to talk to you about something important. Konohamaru turns off the television that was showing a program about Ninja Turtles. What's going on? Naruto explains to him about the meeting he will have to attend in which his father and the sixth will be involved. Konohamaru gets scared. Uchiha. Naruto pulls his ear, so you understand that what you did wasn't right and that everything has consequences. Konohamaru, come on Aniki, it was the quickest way to get her off the stage. Naruto lets go of his ear. I don't care if it was the quickest way to do it, you literally stuck your fingers up her ass, aren't you ashamed? Konohamaru strokes his ears. I wasn't thinking about that, I was only thinking about winning quickly and decisively. Naruto, well, because you thought so carelessly, you've now involved your entire family and the 6th Hokage, and refusing wasn't an option, at least not for me. Konohamaru, damn it, my father will kill me now. Naruto realizes he hasn't seen the other two. Okay, where are Udon and Moegi? Konohamaru, they went shopping with Ria-san. She wanted to give us anything we wanted as thanks for our efforts. I asked her for a camera kit. Naruto, cameras? Konohamaru, you know, my hobby, remember, is photography, and the cameras in this world are far superior to ours. In fact, the phone camera that Sona-san gave me is better than the camera I have in Konoha. Naruto, really? Konohamaru, that's right, humans compensated for their lack of combat capabilities with a huge increase in technological development, although according to RIAS, the technological difference between this world and ours is no more than 10 years. In some things, we're 100 years ahead of them, while in others we're 100 years ahead. For example, aerial technology in our world is non-existent, unlike in this world where they've already started the first space explorations. She also said that there are technologies that we surpass, such as medical ones. She was really keeping an eye on our world with the help of this Crow Syndicate. Naruto, it's a little complicated to process everything that's happened this week, both for them and everything else. Konohamaru, very well, and what will you do now? Naruto, regarding what? Konohamaru, regarding his problems with women. Naruto, but what? Why are you bringing this up now, Konohamaru? Konohamaru, please, boss, you know perfectly well, with everything that's happened with Ria-san and her daughter, what you promised Cheyenne because of her naivete, Hinata's situation, the recent marriage proposal from Sona-senpai, the redheads, that dragon girl, the healer, and that desert girl named Sarah, the princess/actress from the land of ice, even that dark-haired priestess, what was her name again? Oh yes. Tsukino-san, I see you surrounded by feminine problems at the moment. Naruto sighs, why did you mention all that? Konohamaru, from what everyone knows, now with everything that's happened, what are you going to do about them? Reject them? Accept them? Many of them have already made their intentions quite clear. But the important thing here is, what are you going to do? Go out with only one. Counting them, there are a total of 9 interested women, but officially you're married to one of them, and it seems you don't care. Therefore, I'm curious how you're going to resolve all this. I mean, it's not like Konoha cares that you go out with many women. For the council, the more children you have, the better, but this isn't about the village, it's about you, Chief. Naruto, the truth is, I don't know. It's one problem after another, and I'm getting overwhelmed by all of this, and I don't know what to do about those two. I don't want to involve our world any further with what we're already dealing with. Konohamaru, because he must resolve it so that there are no broken hearts. At that moment, Kakashi and Chief Sarutobi enter through the door. Konohamaru, hello Dad, 6th Sama. Chief Sarutobi, pulling his ear, wipe that smile off your face. The first I've heard of my son is that he stuck his fingers up the backside of a lady from a demon clan in another world during a crucial battle for Naruto and his wife. He lets go and gives him a sharp whack on the head, making him scream in pain. You know that affects our image negatively too, right? Konohamaru, I didn't think it was that bad. Chief Sarutobi, do you think damaging a young lady's public image is a minor matter? What do you think people will think of her now? Konohamaru couldn't answer. A young lady's public image reflects on her family, especially regarding private matters, and now her image has been damaged because a 13-year-old boy publicly inserted his fingers into her anus, in the presence of all the most important figures of authority here. Konohamaru swallowed hard, therefore, I'm glad Naruto-san accepted the request to meet with them. This can't be left like this. We will meet with them, and you will remain silent, understood? Konohamaru, understood. Chief Sarutobi, I suppose you want to talk to Naruto, we'll wait in the hallway. He drags his daughter out of the room. Kakashi, having problems with love? Naruto, I wish it were just that. Kakashi, don't jump to conclusions, wait and see what happens before worrying about our interactions with them. Naruto, if I don't think about the possible consequences it could lead to disasters. Kakashi, that's true, but there's no point worrying about things that don't even have a basis yet, and if something does happen we'll figure out how to solve it, so for now sort out your issue with the interested girls and then we'll talk about everything else, okay? Naruto, I guess I don't have a choice. Kakashi, alright, I know we arrived 2 hours early, but I wanted to escape the paperwork for a while. I left Shizune and Shikamaru in charge, they can handle it in my absence. Besides, exploring a new world sounded interesting, even if it is the underworld. This caused a bead of sweat to appear on the back of Naruto's neck. Anyway, we have all the reports on the toads that have been here for years. Shall we get moving? Naruto nods his head and leaves the room with Kakashi. Konohamaru and his father return to the room to properly prepare for the meeting, specifically discussing Konohamaru's image. After 15 minutes they left the room and Konohamaru was unrecognizable. He was so well dressed that he looked like another person. The four of them started walking straight to the main room. RIAS's entire entourage was present, but without RIAS. Issei, hello Naruto-senpai, and Konohamaru, who are they? Everyone greets Naruto and those present. Naruto, he is the 6th Hokage, Kakashi Hatake, and he is Chief Sarutobi, Konohamaru's father. 6th Hokage and Chief Sarutobi, they are RIAS's entourage. Kakashi, hello guys. The 5 of them greeted both of them respectfully. Issei, excuse me, Naruto-senpai, I don't mean to be rude, but why are they here? Naruto explains to them what happened with Zeoticus and the meeting scheduled for both families, surprising the 5 of them. Naruto, alright guys, we'll be heading back towards the Phoenix clan's territory. Please tell RIAS everything. Zeoticus-san already told me how to get there. He starts walking. RIAS, wait Naruto-kun. Naruto turns to look at RIAS, who is carrying her daughter. What's wrong, RIAS? RIAS, your daughter wants to go to an amusement park that just opened today here in the underworld and she wants you to come with us too. She looks at Kakashi and Chief Sarutobi. Good afternoon, it's a pleasure to meet you 6th-san, and I assume you're Kohanamura's father. My mother told me about the Phoenix clan meeting with you. She gives a slight bow of respect. Akane, Dad, come on, come on, come on. Chief Sarutobi, the pleasure is all mine, RIAS-san. Exactly. I'm here to make my son accountable for his actions. Kakashi, it seems you already know us, it's not because of the spy you brought in without authorization, is it? RIAS, I'm so sorry, 6th-san. I didn't mean to cause you any more unnecessary trouble. Kakashi, well, the past is the past, anyway. He gives RIAS a thorough once-over, making her a little uncomfortable, then looks at Naruto. Your mother would definitely approve. RIAS was embarrassed by the comment. Embarrassed Naruto, Kakashi-sensei. Kakashi, what? I only told the truth. The comment made Naruto even more annoyed while RIAS became more embarrassed, while her entourage laughed a little at the scene. Naruto sighs at his Hokage's actions and before he can refuse because he wants to prioritize the Sarutobi family issue with the Phoenix clan, Kakashi speaks for him. Kakashi, of course, he'd be delighted to spend time with his beautiful daughter and wife. He winks at RIAS and she thanks him with a nod. Wouldn't you agree, Naruto? Naruto develops a nervous tic at what his master is doing. Kakashi, very well, in that case we'll take our leave. Before leaving, remember something. That's right, Naruto was our guide. Could you lend us someone to guide us along the correct path, please? Akino, of course, please follow me, I'll tell one of the guards who are escorting you to the Phoenix residences. Kakashi, oh, that's very kind of you, young lady. Everyone follows Akino towards the entrance. Udon, good luck Kohanamaru. Moegi, you will need it he. Konohamaru growls at both of them. Naruto, alright, it's already 5 p.m., let's go right now or it'll get later. RIAS, I agree, is my girl ready? Akane, sure 3. RIAS, very well, we'll go when Akino returns. After 5 minutes Akino appeared and they proceeded to go to the amusement park. Akino performed the teleportation pentagram and they appeared in a building near the amusement park. It should be noted that Naruto, Udon, and Moegi were impressed, as the difference between the amusement parks of both worlds was abysmal. Everyone proceeded to enter the place, which was expected to be full since it was inaugurated today and new things tend to excite people. RIAS, thanks to her family's prestige, was able to enter first without having to wait in line. Although Naruto wanted to wait in line out of respect for those who arrived before him, everyone pushed him inside against his will. Akane's eyes lit up wherever she looked, as did RIAS's entourage. since it wasn't common for them to go to an amusement park. RIAS whispers to her daughter, "Take your father's left hand and I'll take his right, he must be very stressed, let's make sure he has fun, okay?" Akane, "Yes, Mom." She goes and takes her father's arm. "Come on, Daddy, the day is ending and we have many things to do." Naruto, "Of course, my girl, let's go." He couldn't finish what he wanted to say because RIAS took Naruto's other arm and intertwined it with hers. RIAS? RIAS, flirtatious, "Is something wrong, darling?" Akane, "Is something wrong, Dad?" Naruto sighs, seeing why RIAS was so brave with this move. He knows she won't reject him in front of his daughter. He didn't like the move, but he admits it was clever of her. Naruto, "It's okay, my child." RIAS, "Come on, there are many games to enjoy." Naruto is a little embarrassed by RIAS's cheeky smile and mother and daughter drag Naruto towards the games. The others stayed out of it as they didn't want to ruin the moment. RIAS used every opportunity to flirt with Naruto, respecting his space as best as possible so that he wouldn't feel harassed, both on the rides that only adults could go on and on the rides that Akane could go on because she is too young for most of the rides. If she's going to win over her daughter's father, she should do it right, without rushing things stupidly, and she'll make sure that she's the woman of his life even if there are others involved because of the law of restoring clans, and most importantly of all, she won't lose to Sona. Naruto tried to have as much fun as he could, since half of him was embarrassed by RIAS's constant flirting and couldn't say anything because his daughter was with them. But he is still deeply concerned about what may happen to the Sarutobi and all the future consequences that all this may cause, since everything around him may be at the level of catastrophe as was Madara and Kagaya or even something worse. In the end, the only thing that kept him grounded in reality was his daughter's constant laughter and smiles as she enjoyed herself with him and the others, especially on the bumper car ride where out of nowhere everyone started a rivalry and began crashing into each other, definitely Naruto's favorite attraction. At the GREMORY house at 8 p.m. Maid, "Good afternoon Sona-sama, what do you need?" Sona, "I need to speak with Uzumaki Naruto, is he here?" Maid, "I regret to inform you that Ria-sama, along with her entourage, and Naruto-sama and 2 of his students attended the opening of the amusement park at Akane-sama's request." Sona, "So RIAS didn't waste any time, does she know what time they'll arrive?" Maid, "I'm sorry to tell you that they didn't give a specific time, do you need me to leave a message?" Sona, "It's not necessary, I'll come back tomorrow." Maid, "Understood, Sona-sama, have a wonderful night." Sona nods and is about to leave until she hears Konohamaru's voice. "Konohamaru, Sona-senpai." Sona, "Hello Konohamaru-san, weren't you with Naruto-san?" Konohamaru, "No, I was cleaning up my mess from yesterday." Sona, "Yesterday's disaster." Konohamaru, "What I did with Ravel." Then Sona remembers the fight, "I understand, so what happened?" Konohamaru, "The Phoenix clan requested a meeting with my father because I publicly ruined Ravel's image, although I still think it's stupid." Sona, "And what kind of agreement did they reach?" Konohamaru, resigned and indifferent, said, "Now I'm the one who's engaged." Sona, "Seriously?" Konohamaru, "Yes, because I tarnished Ravel's image as a noble lady, I was forced to become engaged to her to take responsibility for my actions." Sona, "Well, Konohamaru-san, what you did affected Ravel's inner image, and part of what characterizes a noble woman is maintaining an impeccable image, from her way of dressing and speaking to remaining pure until marriage. And well, I don't need to tell you what you've already done." Konohamaru makes a gesture of indifference. "The only advice I can give you is to be patient with Ravel. Living a wealthy and pampered life has made her quite arrogant and spoiled, but I'm sure that if she learns the values of your family and your world, that will change quickly." Konohamaru, "If I realized that yesterday, I can classify her as a tsundere, that means trouble, lots of trouble." Sona laughs softly, "I couldn't agree more, although I'm surprised you don't mind." Konohamaru, "I was trained and taught everything about being a clan leader, I'm already mentally prepared for something like this, it bothers me a little that it's that unbearable blonde but nothing I can't handle." Sona, "You have your feet firmly on the ground, that speaks well of you." Konohamaru, "Thank you for all of this. Why did Sona-senpai come? Did she come to talk to Ria-senpai or to Naruto Aniki?" Sona, "With Naruto-san, I need to talk to him about something delicate, but I was told he wasn't here. I'll come back another time." Konohamaru, "The 6th Hokage is here. He's currently speaking with my father while they wait for Zeoticus and Venelana-san. You can speak with him if you wish, if it's a problem we can resolve." Sona, the sixth Hokage is the current leader of your village, as well as Naruto-san's teacher, right? Konohamaru nods, and I wouldn't be interrupting anything. Konohamaru, they're currently sorting out the Phoenix engagement, as these procedures have to be done in the Hokage's presence, and they don't want to delay it since Konoha's most important dates are just around the corner, like Konoha's anniversary, the Chunin exams, the Jonin exams, etc. This takes time, so I'm sure they can help you with your problem right now. Sona, if that's the case, could you please take me to them? It's really important. Konohamaru, of course, please follow me. Konohamaru starts walking and Sona follows him to where the sixth and his father are. Konohamaru, sixth Sama, Dad, he calls the attention of both gentlemen. This is Sona Citri, RIAS's friend and rival. She helped us with the raiding game and acclimating us to this world's culture. Sona, good afternoon gentlemen, as Konohamaru-san already mentioned, I am Sona Citri, the future heir of the Citri clan, and I have come to make a request on behalf of my family. They both examined the young and beautiful lady with short black hair and violet eyes in front of them, and upon hearing her name, they realized that she was the girl Konohamaru and Naruto had mentioned in their private conversation about the women surrounding Naruto. Kakashi examines her thoroughly. Now I understand why Naruto fell in love with this girl. She is the opposite of Naruto. She is the kind of woman that Minato-sensei would accept as his son's wife. Chief Sarutobi came to the same conclusion as Kakashi. Good afternoon, I am the sixth Fire Shadow, Kakashi Hatake. Chief Sarutobi, I am Inazuma Sarutobi, it's a pleasure to meet you. Kakashi, and what would that request be? Sona, I understand from Naruto-san that his medical abilities are the most evolved and advanced in the shinobi world. To put it bluntly, in the underworld, we demons have been plagued by a disease for thousands of years, and we still haven't found a cure. The situation with this disease has reached such a point that doctors have resigned themselves to not even trying to cure it, they simply accept it as if it were a natural death, and this is unacceptable. So my family is willing to negotiate with you in order to find a way to end this disease by any means possible. Inazuma, one of your family members is affected by this disease, isn't it? Sona's gaze darkens. Yes, my father has been suffering from this disease for over 10 years, and my mother is falling into such a deep depression that it's affecting her physical and mental health as well. Medical researchers have resigned themselves to this disease, after hundreds of years of trying to eradicate it, but without success. Kakashi, and look for other alternatives. Sona controls her emotions so as not to disrespect the two men in front of her. That's right, I'm willing to do anything to end this disease, not only for my father but for everyone affected by it throughout the underworld. Hope is something that can never be lost. Kakashi, you're definitely the kind of person Minato-sensei would accept into his son's life. Sona, excuse me, Kakashi, I said you're the kind of girl Minato-sensei would accept as his son Naruto's wife. Sona, surprised and embarrassed, wondered, why the sudden change of subject. Kakashi, I understand you proposed to my student, is that correct? She nods. Your way of seeing things is something Naruto's father would like for his son, so that's a way of saying you have the Hokage's approval. Therefore, technically speaking, you'll have the right to request medical assistance in Konoha, so you won't have to reach any kind of agreement with us to negotiate a cure for your father. All I ask is that you take good care of my shinobi, okay? Sona blushed at what was said, but all she could do was smile and give a slight bow. Thank you so much for giving me your blessing, Hokage-sama. I promise to take good care of Naruto-san as his future wife. Kakashi smiles at him. You don't have to give them, it's natural, and now regarding your father's illness, I don't like to give false hope, so I would have to speak with the fifth Hokage so she can come and give you her verdict on whether or not it's curable. Sona, the fifth one, Konohamaru, the fifth Hokage, Lady Tsunade, is the greatest medical kunoichi to have ever lived and is currently the strongest woman in the shinobi world. She created 80% of the most modern medical procedures currently in use. Sona is surprised by such a statement. Really? Kakashi, if she says they can be saved, you can be sure she will. You'll just have to wait for me to give you the full news. Sona, thank you very much, I will eagerly await your news. In that case, I will leave so as not to take up any more of your time. Have a wonderful afternoon. She begins to walk towards the exit. Kakashi, no need, and before you go, a piece of advice, he calls Sona's attention. Tsunade looks up to Naruto like a grandson. If you want to get on her good side, make sure Naruto speaks well of you. She, being the doctor she is, won't abandon any patient if she has a way to save them, but if she likes you, she'll be even more eager and you'll get better results. Just remember that since you'll be Naruto's future wife, she'll be watching you from head to toe, so keep that in mind. Sona, I'll keep that in mind when I speak to her, thank you very much. She begins to back away and leaves the room. Inazuma, squinting at Kakashi, asked, why did you say that? You know you've only gotten Naruto into more trouble by giving him your blessing. Kakashi, I did it to please Naruto's parents. Sona is Minato-sensei's ideal wife for Naruto, just as RIAS is for Kushina, according to Konohamaru's reports. I asked him to secretly make sure RIAS, or any woman who came near Naruto, was safe from Naruto. Isn't that right, Konohamaru? He makes the peace sign for his father. Inazuma, what I know is that you want to see the world burn around Naruto. Kakashi, he's an Uzumaki and the law for restoring clans requires a minimum of 2 women, I think he can handle both of them, romantically, financially, and lustfully. Inazuma, as far as I understand, there are more than 5 interested parties, and I hope Hokage-sama that it's not based on Jiraiya-sama's books because otherwise, all this will lead to a lot of problems. Kakashi nervously hides his books, no, not at all. Inazuma hits his forehead upon hearing the answer. Meanwhile, with Naruto, it was already 1 a.m. and everyone was tired from so much laughter today. Akane was in her father's protective arms with a smile from ear to ear. RIAS, this day has been excellent. Asia, I had a lot of fun today. Issei, I couldn't agree more. Kiba, I must admit that taking these kinds of breaks is very satisfying. Akino, I agree, especially the laughter and the competitions. Kaneko eating a lollipop, especially the sweets. Issei, you're always eating sweets, even as a demon you should be careful about diabetes. Kaneko just looks away. Moegi, we had so much fun, you can't compare the parks in our world to these. Udon, I think the same. RIAS yawns, alright, I think it's time to go. We have a lot to do in Kuo tomorrow, and Naruto and company have a lot of work to do in their world. Naruto, do you want Akane to stay with you for the time being? RIAS strokes her daughter's face, no, I already stole 3 years of her life. If I want to see her myself, I'll go visit her in Konoha. We'll sort out the visits and other things later. For now, we both have work to do that we can no longer ignore. Naruto, very well, in that case let's retreat. RIAS nods and they head to the buildings to activate teleportation devices and return to the GREMORY house. RIAS then goes and says goodbye to her parents to return to Kuo. One of the frogs from Mount Mayaboku told Naruto that Kakashi, Inazuma, and Konohamaru had already returned to Konoha. RIAS returned a few minutes later and took Konohamaru's gift and gave it to her companions to take with them. They returned to Kuo and each went their separate ways home. RIAS wanted them to stay another night with them, but time was short and they had to refuse. RIAS says goodbye to Naruto and his still sleeping daughter, and Naruto and his students return to Konoha. They are surprised to find it was already daytime when they arrive, and they remember that there are time differences between worlds. If it was night in RIAS's world, it was daytime in Naruto's. But they couldn't care less and went home to rest. Udon and Moegi said goodbye to their teacher and older brother, and took Konohamaru's gift to deliver to his house before going to their own. Naruto arrives home and finds his blood clone. Naruto goes and puts his daughter to bed and returns with his clone, bucket in hand. He places it downstairs and the clone disappears. Since it was a blood clone, the blood falls onto the bucket so as not to soil the floor or any other furniture. At that same moment, all the clone's memories return to the original, causing him to feel a severe headache from everything he did, especially the fight on the moon. Naruto is happy to have solved the moon problem and resolved Hinata's crush on him. He took it badly, but at least they're still friends. Without wanting to think about anything else, he lies down with his daughter, embracing her, and she returns the embrace. End of chapter. Chapter 21, Fixing Love Problems and the Collector's Market Asterisk. A month had passed since the raiding game and Naruto was swamped with work, not only on his classes to become a good Hokage but also on extra work related to his fame. During that time Naruto was able to resolve a few romantic problems, rejecting them while trying not to hurt them in the process. With Sari, Sarah's daughter, they ended on good terms, where she understood Naruto's position and they remained just friends. Things got a little heated with Amaru, but in the end she understood that they weren't right for each other, so they were able to leave the matter alone and just be friends. He wasn't so lucky with Akari. When he went to visit her at her current hideout in a forest in the land of rice, she told him she was determined to be with Naruto. Like Naruto, her clan was nearly extinct, with only her and her brother remaining. The dragon attacks a couple of years prior had left them almost exiled from everywhere, unable to live peacefully in a secluded spot because they were constantly hunted for their knowledge of dragons, jutsu, and other techniques. He was the only person she trusted implicitly. To prove that she doesn't want to be with anyone other than Naruto, Akari undresses in front of him, causing Naruto to blush deeply and cover his eyes, asking why she did it. And she was very clear and forceful in her response. Akari, I don't want to be with anyone but you, Naruto-san. This body belongs only to you, you can use it however you want. Just allow me to be a part of your life. Naruto seriously asked her if she really loved him or if it was just to have a safe place to stay, since she didn't have to do that if what she wanted was to be in a safe place for herself and her brother. And the response he received was Akira standing in front of him and giving him a strong kiss on the mouth, much to Naruto's surprise. Surprised, Naruto tried to push her away, but she used her dragon strength to continue kissing him. Naruto didn't want to hurt her, so he quickly turned to get on top of her, and she looked him in the eyes. Akari, I know that if I ask you, you'll offer me a home in Konoha, but I never wanted to because of all the trouble we caused. I'm ashamed of my brother's actions, and he feels the same way. That day, you should have killed me, but instead, you saved me when everyone thought I was beyond saving. You judged me as a person, not as a creature covered in scales. You saved me despite all the lies and deceptions I told you, and above all, you allowed us to live when the daimyo gave the order to execute us. We've never met anyone so selfless in wanting to help others without expecting anything in return. That's why I want to spend the rest of my life with you. There are no two men like you, and when a dragon falls in love with someone, it's for life. Even if I accepted your request, I could never fall in love with anyone else, because we are loyal to those we love until the day we die. Naruto feeling bad, oh my god, don't say those things to me, now I feel horrible because of what I said to you. Akari strokes his cheek, you don't have to feel bad, you were honest with me about your current problems, but even so, I don't have a problem with them, I want to be with you, my body, my mind and my spirit only think of you, if there are other girls it doesn't matter, because I know you would never dare to hurt any of us. Naruto, completely uncomfortable in his position, decides to stand up, but she takes the opportunity to throw him to the ground again, her dragon instincts are totally out of control. Naruto, is this really what you want? I don't even know what I want. Between my daughter, the other world, my current engagement, and Cheyenne, it's all too much trouble, and I don't know how to handle it. They deserve someone who can spoil them properly. Akari places both hands on Naruto's cheeks, and who spoils you? Naruto, but is silenced by Akari. Akari, it's okay, you've always been able to solve problems and these ones that are bothering you won't be the exception, no matter how many there are in your life, the only thing that matters to me is being a part of yours, so please. Just let yourself be loved. Before he could speak, she attacked him with an intro kiss, but this time she clung to his body, unwilling to let go. Naruto tried to calm her down, but he ended up succumbing to the dragon's pheromones above him. He knew dragon pheromones were strong, but he hadn't thought they would be so potent that they prevented him from entering sage mode in time to break free from the trance. By the time Naruto regained his composure, 17 hours had passed, most of which time they had been doing it. Akari was on top of his body, which was covered in scratches and bites, and Naruto remembered how they started doing it slowly and passionately, only to turn into something completely wild and violent. Naruto, damn it. Akari wakes up and gives him a kiss. Good morning, darling, he. She knows she managed to do this thanks to the pheromones she gives off as a dragon. For the first time in her life, she was happy to have them. Naruto, now I feel like a stray dog. Akari, don't worry, if they say anything, I'll be the one to talk to them. Naruto, I think you'll only make the problem worse. Akari, if they understand your position then they will understand, if not they are the ones who miss out, for my part one will be here with you, my body, my soul and my spirit belong to you, she smiles at him from the depths of her being. Naruto, oh my god, okay. Akari hugs him tightly, thank you for understanding, I promise to make you happy. Naruto sighed at this, since none of this should have happened, and here he was, not knowing how to say no, which was completely frustrating him. Naruto escorted them both back to Konoha, where no one dared to say anything about the two members of the Dragon Clan. Once they spoke with Kakashi, they were both given a house to live in, which the siblings gratefully accepted, thanking the sixth Hokage for his kindness. After settling in, Akari went to meet Naruto's daughter, who was captivated by her beauty and sweetness. It seemed Akane liked Akari, which was good news. Although Naruto told her to keep everything low profile until he could gather them all together, she readily agreed. There was no escaping Cheyenne, he'd already promised her a child, and he couldn't break that promise. But he's afraid of how Cheyenne will react, especially regarding RIAS and Sona, so he won't tell her for now. At least Cheyenne knows Naruto has a daughter, but she doesn't seem to care. Cheyenne plans to meet her once she has time to visit Konoha, as certain things have happened that she can't discuss with Naruto because they're state secrets. For now, the situation has calmed down regarding the girls, but something tells him that this is not over yet. After this, she participated in several photo shoots for the new collectible ninja cards that began to be sold this year, as well as taking photos to model seasonal clothing of all kinds. She even used her sexy jutsu for these photos, both for the ninja cards and modeling clothes ranging from the most casual to the most erotic for the fashion magazine. Doing this made him have a lot of fun at the time, although it didn't amuse Sakura, Ino, Tenten, and even Hinata, who participated at Kurenai and Hanabi's request, since when the photos were published, it overshadowed the four of them in every aspect, and even the 5 Naruto ninja cards, 3 normal and 2 of the sexy jutsu, had UR rarity, which indicates that there are only 1,000 units of each of those cards, while the 3 girls cards had the highest rarity of SSR, which indicates that there are 10,000 units of each of their cards. Only Sakura had a UR card, and it was the card dedicated to her participation in the 4th Ninja War. Sasuke also had these photos taken, although he didn't want to at first, but a private conversation with Kakashi and Tsunade was enough to convince him. 4 of them came out, and they are also UR like Naruto's. Something that surprised everyone is that one of those 4 is a version of him with the sexy jutsu, which baffled those of his generation since they never imagined Sasuke using the sexy jutsu. All the ninjas from all the villages, including the small ones, took these photos for the ninja cards. Currently, there are 44 UR cards available at launch, 5 of Naruto, 4 of Sasuke, 1 of Sakura, 1 of Kakashi, 1 of Tsunade, 1 of Might Guy, 1 of Gaara, 1 of Mei Terumi, 1 of Inoki, 1 of A, 1 of Orochimaru, 1 of Jiraiya, made from photos he took with his books, 1 of Hashirama, 1 of Tobirama, 1 of Hiruzen Sarutobi, 1 of Minato, 4 of the previous Mizukage, 3 of the previous Reikage, 4 of the previous Kazekage, 2 of the previous Tsuchikage, 1 of the samurai leader, who were included on the cards, 1 of Granny Chiyo, 1 of Killer Bee, 1 of Hanzo the Salamander, and 3 of Akatsuki members, Pain, Itachi, Conan, and Toby. This rarity was granted to them due to their contributions throughout their careers. Like Shinobi, 100 SSR cards for the most relevant ninjas from all the hidden villages, 220 SR cards of which there are 100,000 of each, and 332 R cards of which there are 1 million of each, belonging to the most outstanding ninjas currently, both those who are still alive and those who are already resting in peace. Some ninjas had several cards depicting a stage in their shinobi career, but only Sasuke has 4 and Naruto has 5 individually. The ninjas who were not photographed for these cards are those who have not been relevant enough to be worthy of being portrayed on the cards, encouraging them to be more proactive in their careers as shinobi. For the launch of the ninja cards, 5 EX category cards were made, of an even higher rarity than the UR cards since these consist of only 100 existing units. There are also special cards of their own subcategory, those for criminals like Akatsuki, which include a description of the crimes each member committed. These cards have the letter C on the side, which is the initial of the word criminals, and they are black. There are a total of 700 ninja cards. The first EX category card is of the entire Team 7 including Yamato and Sai. The second EX card was dedicated to Hagoromo the Sage of the 6 Paths at Naruto's request. The third EX card is of the 5 Kages who led the 4th Ninja War. The 4th EX card of the complete Akatsuki team. And the 5th EX card surprised everyone, with more than one person staring blankly at how strange it was, since the fourth special card was of Naruto and Sasuke posing together with the sexy jutsu. Sakura wanted an explanation about the photo for the card, since she made various requests to spend time with him and he had rejected most of them. Sasuke only said that he was forced to take it, but Sakura knew that wasn't entirely true. Sasuke refused to explain, which annoyed Sakura, who then demanded an explanation from Naruto. However, he also avoided the question because the reason was very embarrassing. The cards on the back have a brief description which includes the name, age, rank, and what the image on the card represents. Only Naruto and Sasuke have cards that are classified as special, because they are the cards of Naruto and Sasuke's sexy jutsu, both the individual ones that are UR as well as the one for both of them which is EX. These had a special, invented description to explain the card and to prevent people from confusing them. They had the letter S in the upper left corner, indicating that they were special or event cards, as some like to call them. The cards were sold in packs of 5, and the boxes contained 50 packs. These were sold to various distributors and dispersed to every corner of the elemental nations. They also sold a collector's album to hold all the cards from the first edition. Sales of the ninja cards were a resounding success, exceeding all expectations. All boxes sold out within a week, and according to distributors, toy stores and collectors have no more than 20 packs left each. It is estimated that all packs and albums will be sold by the second week. The most valuable cards, such as UR cards, were resold for 10 times their face value, and EX cards for 100 times or even 1,000 times their face value by resellers who were lucky enough to get one. They had no trouble finding people willing to pay for them. Aldeño del Rio had to pay those exorbitant prices so that his son could have the entire first edition collection. Some of the cards that were sold in those envelopes. Regarding the fashion magazine, only a few kunoichi and shinobi from different villages dared to take photos of it, except for the erotic ones, which were too embarrassing for them, and they left that to the professional models. As expected, the best-selling items were the clothes that Naruto had modeled, both his own and the one with the sexy jutsu, although many girls, both models and kunoichi, were discouraged to learn that a boy did a better job than they did. There were also children's magazines, and Akane, being a cosplay enthusiast, asked her dad if she could participate in the photo shoot. At first, he didn't like the idea, but Akane's puppy dog eyes were too powerful, so he agreed, but with certain limitations due to her age. The magazine staff came up with a section featuring just the two of them, both normal Naruto and his version of the sexy jutsu, for the winter, spring, and even summer seasons. The hardest work was the parenting, cooking, and cleaning classes that Tsunade forced him to take after he met Akane. It was instant grandmotherly love for her. She said that she reminded her a lot of Kushina because of her cheerful personality and told her to thank the stars that she didn't inherit her temperament too, making Naruto sweat profusely since he didn't know his mother's temperament, but nobody spoke well about it so he was afraid to find out. Tsunade was not amused that the girl and her mother were demons by nature. What bothered her most was the arranged marriage between the Sarutobi and Phoenix clan. Kakashi said that for the moment they didn't have to worry about them, but that he had already taken all the necessary precautions in case. Tsunade resigned herself to trusting Kakashi and Naruto in this matter and offered her condolences and good faith to Konohamaru. Tsunade wants to meet the mother to tell her that if she gets too clever, even a little, with Naruto, she herself would rip her head off, which scared Kakashi and Shizune because of the dark and diabolical way in which she said it. Akane, on the other hand, was content with her free time and studies since everything was with her father present, although these last few days she has been bored because her favorite activities like cosplay and watching anime are not something she can enjoy here because the anime was brought by her mother and the costumes are only she who has them and her father does not. Eager to do even one of those activities, she heads to her father who is talking to one of the heads of the card company who was giving Naruto a share of the card profits that was due to him. Akane approaches them both. "Dad, can I interrupt you for a moment?" They both look at Akane. Naruto smiles at him. Before requesting an interruption, you have to greet the guest and ask him for it. Akane realizes her mistake and corrects herself, giving a slight bow as a respectful greeting. "Good afternoon, sir. May I interrupt a moment of your time?" The gentleman returns the gesture. "Good afternoon, young princess, of course, come in." Naruto speaks. "What do you need?" Akane gives puppy dog eyes as she puts her hands behind her back. "After studying, watch anime together. It's been a long time since we've seen any of that." Akane's puppy dog face makes Naruto and the toy company boss squirm internally with cuteness. Naruto smiles at him, sure, let me finish with Mr. Alone and you finish studying, we'll watch whatever you want to watch. Akane smiles broadly, thank you dad, I will finish my studies. She leaves with a cheerful step. Mr. Alone speaks, his daughter is a delight. Naruto is happy, he definitely is. Mr. Alone remembers something and takes out a wooden box as well as a silk envelope, catching Naruto's attention. This is a gift from the company for your daughter and the envelope is for you. He hands the box and the envelope to Naruto. He examines its contents, the cards. Alone, that's right, we gave all the participants in the first edition a card with a special print to distinguish them from the mass-produced ones, and at the request of the groups we made one exclusively for your daughter. As you can see, your cards have a light blue border. This indicates which ones were sold and which ones are for the participants. For your daughter, we prepared a complete box with a white border indicating that they are unique and exclusive to her. I hope she likes our gift. Naruto smiles at Mr. Alone, thank you very much, I'm sure you'll like it. Mr. Alone gathers his things, gets up from the sofa, and extends his hand, very well, Mr. Uzumaki, we both have limited time, it was a pleasure doing business with you. Naruto gets up and offers his hand to say goodbye in a cordial and respectful manner, the pleasure is all mine. They separate their hands and he starts walking towards the door. Naruto is curious about the next cards. Do you plan to release more cards? Alone happily replies, obviously, these were a resounding success. We plan to release a special edition next year while we gather information on the findings and achievements of the shinobi and samurai to include on the cards. We may even add sumo wrestlers, priests, and even knights in future editions for more variety. After all, our informants told us that the cards motivated the ninjas to perform their work better. Naruto scratches his head happily, it's good to hear that, although it's a little disheartening that fame is what motivates them. Alone nodded in affirmation, as long as they do their job well like the professionals they are, you shouldn't worry. Naruto nodded in agreement, very well, Mr. Uzumaki, I'll take my leave. If you're interested, we're planning a festival edition, in case you want to prepare. Naruto laughs, of course, I'll be ready for the occasion. Mr. Alone chuckles a little and proceeds to leave. Naruto closes the door and puts away the cards Mr. Alone gave him. He puts his own in his pockets and hands the ones from the box to his daughter, who received them with pleasure and joy. Naruto leaves his daughter in the care of guardian toads and prepares to make a dimensional jump to RIAS's world since he had no idea what anime was. He arrives at the occult club, completely forgetting that RIAS and company are asleep at this hour. He thought it best to wake Issei up to ask him about several things. Kiba and Kaneko didn't seem interested in that kind of thing. Asia doubted he knew anything. Asking Akino would be dangerous, especially for him, since RIAS, while obviously aware of her daughter's tastes, would try to take advantage of the situation, which he wasn't in the mood for at the moment. Issei was the most childish, so he was sure that he would know everything about anime. At Issei's house, Naruto knocks on Issei's window several times until he manages to wake him up. He could enter without problems, but he doesn't want to be disrespectful. Sleepy Issei opens his window. Naruto-senpai yawns, what are you doing here at this hour? There are still 3 hours until morning training. Naruto enters, I'm sorry Issei, but I wanted to ask for your help. Issei, help with what? Naruto, you see, one of Akane's hobbies is watching anime, but I know absolutely nothing about it. I thought you might know about it. Issei raises an eyebrow, sure, but wouldn't it be better to ask RIAS directly about it? Naruto scratches his head, a little embarrassed. Knowing RIAS, she'll try to take advantage of the situation, and right now I'm not in the mood for that. Issei, thoughtful, I understand, although I don't see anything wrong with it, she's his wife after all, yawns, but who am I to judge? He begins to examine his things. He checks a couple of drawers and grimaces, they're probably downstairs, please follow me. He leaves his room and Naruto follows him. They pass in front of Issei's parents' room and suddenly hear banging. They're both worried, but that thought quickly leaves their minds and they're filled with embarrassment when they hear a groan. Let's pretend we didn't hear that, okay? Naruto, embarrassed, nods his head and they continue on their way, arriving at the main room of the house. He starts examining the drawers full of discs and then remembers something and asks Naruto while continuing to search, do you guys handle the CDs? Naruto thought, yes, but I don't know if my player can read yours. Issei, thoughtful, in that case, why don't you bring your daughter here and they can see you here? As you've probably already realized, I don't think my parents will wake up all morning. Naruto is a little embarrassed by that, but quickly recovers. And it doesn't bother you? Issei, not at all, it's not like it would be difficult for me to do it. Anyway, if it bothers you, you can ask the president to organize a special room for you in the occult research club. I'm sure she won't say no. He smiles as he finds what he's looking for. Here it is. He takes out the box and cleans it a little. This is an anime I really liked as a kid, and don't worry, there's nothing in it that you need to worry about. He hands her the box. Naruto looks at some hamsters. Issei smiles, that's right, it's called Hamtaro. He reads the description. Naruto looks at the description. Laura's cute and cuddly 5th grade pet, Hamtaro, is a golden hamster with an insatiable curiosity. Along with the Ham friends, a group of hamsters as intelligent and unique as Hamtaro himself, Hamtaro lives each day as a brand new adventure, complete with fun, excitement, and friendship. Issei smiles, I'm sure Akane-chan will love it, it's an adorable and easy to digest story. Naruto smiles, in that case I'll take you up on that, thank you very much, I'll go get Akane then. Issei takes the CD case, very well, I'll get the room ready then. Naruto disappears in a puff of air and Issei begins to prepare the room for both of them. Naruto picked up his daughter and returned to Issei's house where he had already set up the television along with the CD player inside. Issei explained how to place the discs in case he ever needs to change one, since the series has 296 episodes, 4 movies, and 4 OVAs. Issei went back to bed because it was still very early. Naruto and Akane thanked Issei for the gesture and started watching the anime. Akane didn't know the anime because it was somewhat old, but after the first episode she fell in love with the animated series and surprisingly Naruto also loved the series. Without realizing it, they spent 3 hours watching the series glued to the television until Issei turned on the kitchen lights indicating that it was already 6 in the morning in Japan, which is equivalent to 6 in the afternoon in Konoha. The light turning on caught Naruto's attention, leaving his daughter on the sofa who was still engrossed in the television, and then Issei spoke, wow, you guys really liked the anime, although it doesn't surprise me, it was very popular in its time hahaha. Naruto wipes his eyes a little, what time is it? Issei looks at the kitchen clock, it's 6 a.m., or if I remember correctly, it's 6 p.m. with you guys. Naruto surprised, wow, time really flew by watching anime, it's really entertaining even though it's so simple. Issei smiles, right, I told you they'd like it he. Naruto remembering something important, all this time, ready for morning training. Issei sighs, not really, but I have no other choice. Naruto raises an eyebrow, aren't you supposed to want to get stronger? Issei stretches, indeed, but I still haven't fully gotten used to the strict exercise routine it has, and besides, my motivation to get stronger isn't just to make myself stronger. Naruto narrows his eyes, is it because he's the harem king, right? Issei, motivated, points at Naruto, indeed, that's my biggest motivation to want to become stronger. Naruto sighs, you know, Issei, you need more than that to fulfill your dream. This confused Issei, what do you mean? Naruto, I'm currently the strongest person in my world, and even so, I wasn't able to make the girl I've loved since childhood see me the same way. This surprised Issei, don't misunderstand, I'm not saying you won't achieve your goal, but you won't achieve it just by gaining strength. This made Issei think, striking a thoughtful pose, and then Naruto came up with an idea that would work perfectly to motivate Issei. How about this? He caught Issei's attention, if you manage to achieve certain training objectives by the end of the year, I'll teach you espionage techniques. Issei turns his head, slightly confused. Espionage? Naruto raises an eyebrow flirtatiously, add some imagination, what could you do with espionage skills? Issei thinks for a few seconds and begins to smile pervertedly, his eyes shining with determination, really? You're going to teach me those ninja stuff? Naruto smiles slyly, indeed, Issei excitedly, then what are we waiting for, let's get down to training. He wanted to leave through his door, but is stopped dead in his tracks by Naruto. Wait a moment, Issei looks at Naruto confused, what's going on? Naruto stares intently at Issei, if I give you a shinobi reward, you must also receive a shinobi punishment. This confused Issei, if you are unable to pass the tests at the end of the year, you will have to spend an entire month as a girl, and I mean that quite literally. Issei turned pale. He can't be serious. Naruto, you sly fox, is giving you the chance to spy on women without being caught. If you want something like this, you have to earn it, or else face the consequences. And by consequences, I mean that in addition to transforming into a woman for a month, you'll have to experience what they feel when they're harassed by perverts like you. Issei swallowed hard. He thought for a few moments and, determined, looked at Naruto. I accept. Naruto smiled. Very well. He went to his daughter, turning off the television and pulling her out of her trance. Is something wrong, Dad? Naruto carries his daughter. It's been 3 hours, that's more than enough for today. Akane makes a face of disgust, but accepts. Understood. Naruto fixes her hair. I'll take you to Shizuneni-chan so she can prepare dinner and get you ready for bed. I have to help Issei with his training. Akane nods her head. Will you be home before then? Naruto smiles at him. Don't worry, when I finish my work here I'll go back home to sleep. Akane nods with a slight yawn. Understood, Dad. Naruto looks at Issei. Start making the journey. I'll catch up with you at any moment. Issei nods and Naruto disappears along with his daughter in a puff of smoke. Issei began to retreat to the place where he does his first stretches and exercises for his training, but with all the motivation in the world, because he will be able to spy without being hit at the end of each attempt, although he admitted that a part of him would like to know what he would look like as a girl, but for the moment having the power to spy as a ninja is his top priority. Besides that it will be useful for many other things. Meanwhile, with RIAS, she was at her desk waiting for someone, and it was none other than the Crow Syndicate. Good afternoon RIAS-sama. RIAS, a little anxious. Good morning, Crow, did you get them? Crow pulls out an envelope. Yes, it was a bit complicated but I finally have them. He hands them over. RIAS, thank you very much, you will be paid as usual. The Crow nods and leaves. RIAS opens the envelope and smiles, pleased to see she's got them. They were none other than all of Naruto's cards, including the EX card she shares with her team and Sasuke's, though she grimaces at the latter. You'll make the next card like this with me. Just then, Akino arrives. Akino, good morning RIAS-sama. RIAS gets scared and puts the cards away. This catches Akino's attention. Era. What did she hide? RIAS, embarrassed. Nothing, I'm just organizing the documents for today's work. Akino laughs about that, and by chance those matters are Naruto-sama's. RIAS, embarrassed. Not at all, it's about the House of Runaway Demons. There are a lot of them around town lately. Akino laughed because she knew she was lying, but she wouldn't push it any further. Well, if she's so focused, I'll go make breakfast. Akino retreats to the kitchen, and RIAS sighs in relief and takes out the cards again, looking at the one with Naruto and Sasuke. I wonder if the businessman who made these cards will let me get one with him. I've got nothing to lose by asking, hehehe. She imagines herself with Naruto using the sexy jutsu, striking a sexy and sensual pose in front of the camera, wearing swimsuits for the cards. End of chapter. Chapter 22. A chat with my brother-in-law *. They have passed. 15 days have passed since Naruto began training Issei more intensely under the bet they made between them. The surprising thing is that Issei has met all of Naruto's proposed goals so far, although the reality is that he has barely managed to do so, but in the end he has achieved them. While Naruto was in RIAS universe, he discovered that the months between both worlds were also different, and not only was it November in the elemental nations while in RIAS land it was only May. RIAS gave Naruto a cell phone so they could communicate over long distances without him having to go to her every time he needed to ask her something. The phone was delivered to him via the Raven since she could not deliver it to him in person at that time. Adding that the phone was magically modified by Beelzebub at RIAS's request to add additional functions that demons possess among themselves, although slightly modified so that those functions can be used with chakra and not magic. Naruto tried to learn how to use the phone on his own, but failed miserably because it has so many functions that it was too much for him to process. Since the phone Azazel gave him and the one RIAS gave him were technologically very different, he didn't know what the hell to do with it other than make calls or take pictures. His daughter also doesn't know how to use it because she has never had contact with one, although she knows perfectly well what it is for, but that doesn't help her at all to use it better. Naruto remembered that Konohamaru, Moegi, and Udon had given him a similar one on behalf of Sona. He went to find them to learn how to use it, but unfortunately for him, the three of them were busy on an A-class mission with Shikamaru and Rock Lee. So Naruto resignedly went to ask RIAS or someone from her entourage for help. Naruto arrived at 7 a.m. to meet them at RIAS's mansion and entered through the special entrance of the building using the key that she gave him so that he could enter whenever he wanted without asking permission, only to be surprised that no one was there, neither she nor her entourage. Naruto called one of the toads that is watching RIAS 24 hours a day and told him that he went to do a summoning job that they usually do. Naruto remembered those tasks when Issei told him how he became a demon and how he summoned RIAS when he was bleeding out. The toad told her that on this occasion the client requested the help of several demons for a job that would last all day, so everyone participated, including her. Naruto throws himself down on the large sofa while sighing, as the idea of being unable to use a device that is supposed to be simple to use is causing him a lot of trouble and discomfort. And all it knows how to do is get it off the lock screen to enter the main menu, since it followed the phone's setup instructions to start using it, but beyond that it doesn't have anything else. Beelzebub forgot to give it instructions on how to use all its functions, or maybe he assumed RIAS would do it and saved himself the time of designing the instructions. The first time he saw the background image of the phone's main menu, it was a totally revealing picture of RIAS, although Naruto looked at it with total disinterest since he didn't care. And to his annoyance, it's not the only revealing image of RIAS, since the image changes every 30 seconds. He didn't know how many images there were, but he easily thought there were more than 100. He's not as oblivious as he used to be, and RIAS is clearly trying to get his attention more and more in every way possible, from simply spending time together with their daughter to things like this. RIAS's beauty is undeniable, both her face and her body. Any man married to such beauty would be the envy of many men. The problem is that Naruto couldn't care less. When he looked at a beautiful girl with good attributes while he was with Ero Sennin during his 3-year training, he also made stupid faces, not to the degree of Jiraiya or Issei, but very obvious. But all of that was linked to the adolescent lust I felt about it, but physical beauty has never been an important criterion for falling in love with someone. He was in love with Sakura for years and to this day she is still a flat-chested woman. The physical change since her academy days is minimal. The only thing that stood out in those 3 years that he didn't see her was her musculature and height. And despite that, he still loved her just as she was, temperament and all, so for Naruto, RIAS's exuberant and natural beauty is not and will not be important. The way RIAS has been trying to flirt with Naruto after the raiding game has been in similar situations to the amusement park. So far, the phone full of sensual images of her has been the boldest move so far and also the most harmless. She tries not to invade his personal space more than necessary, and in a way, she appreciates it. If Naruto were a normal man or a man of that kind, he would have fallen for RIAS's charms a long time ago, and they would probably have already done that act on more than one occasion. However, he already has all kinds of experiences thanks to the Ero Sennin, so things like that don't work on him, at least not when he's already expecting it. If they take him by surprise, it will probably work even if he doesn't want to admit it. It's also because he's seeing RIAS only as a friend and is still unable to see her as a romantic interest, regardless of the fact that they both have a daughter. This is also attributed to the fact that he developed feelings for Sona despite what happened with the chess piece and being engaged to her, something that apparently did not matter much to the greater demons. What bothers him about it are the constant dreams he's been having, from romantic, simple dreams to even wet ones. He even imagined what it would be like to have a child between them, causing Naruto to sigh wearily and annoyed. Because it wasn't just that, there was also the situation with Cheyenne and Akari, who miraculously didn't get pregnant after that encounter in nature, remembering that he has to perform a jutsu to neutralize the dragon pheromones because they are clearly a problem. Returning to the matter at hand, his great concern is about his new demonic relationships, both his own and those of the Sarutobi clan, not forgetting what will happen if the other villages and nations find out, especially the land of demons, who have been demon hunters their entire lives, and it is more than clear that they will not like to find out about something like this, especially Cheyenne. After resealing the demon Morio, Naruto made a promise to Cheyenne when she mentioned the next priestess. Being the idiot he's always been, or innocent, probably both, he promised to help her with that. But he thought she meant helping to educate and train her when the time came to strengthen or, in an extreme case, seal Morio if he saw a problem with the seal containing him. But the reality is that he was asking her to have a child with him, so that the next priestess would be born from their union. Naruto still remembers what he said, "My power must pass to the next priestess." What do you say, Naruto? Will you help me with that? Everyone present understood, he was the only idiot who interpreted it differently. Jiraiya had warned him that his oath to keep his promises no matter what was a double-edged sword, and that day was a clear example of that. And now what did he think of her? She's almost an exact copy of Hinata, one might even think they were twins if they didn't know them both. The only way he sees to break that promise without him doing it himself is if Cheyenne abandons or breaks the promise when he finds out he has a half-demon daughter. Considering the nation's role and all that it represents, sooner or later they will know the truth. He knows perfectly well that they won't dare raise a hand against him, but what truly worries him is that they might do something indirectly. When they went to talk to them to get tools for the raiding game, they were only told that they needed it to deal with demons, which wasn't entirely untrue, but they omitted the whole part about their daughter's relationship, as well as the fact that they are demons from another reality, and that same day Naruto found out about Cheyenne's intentions when she told him what day and in what place she would like to do that to have the future priestess. When Naruto learned of their true intentions, he almost fainted, but he didn't have time to talk about it, so he avoided the topic as respectfully as possible and they returned to RIAS's world to finish the raiding game. Since then, he hasn't wanted to go near the land of demons to talk about it because he doesn't know what the hell to say or how to handle the situation. Naruto closed his eyes as he reflected on all of this. Although he doesn't know what he hopes to achieve, he has been pondering the matter for almost 2 months. At that moment, a teleportation circle from the GREMORY family appeared. Naruto initially thought that RIAS had already finished the job and they were back, but that thought left his mind almost instantly when he felt the energy of his older brother Surzex and his queen Grafia. While Naruto knows that RIAS's brother is strong, he's not at his level, he's at the level of a Kage, a level that Naruto surpassed in the 4th Shinobi World War, or at least that's what it seems like with the energy he constantly emanates. And as a ninja, he knows that appearances can be deceiving, so just in case, he's always on his guard when he talks to him. So he sat down, got up from the sofa, and sat down comfortably on it. When the teleportation magic was completed, they were both surprised to see Naruto in the main room. Grafia, a little surprised, Naruto-sama. Naruto raises his hand in greeting without getting up from the sofa. Good morning Grafia-san and King Lucifer. Surzex still couldn't quite grasp the idea of RIAS and Naruto's relationship and everything involved. Furthermore, according to what Grafia told him when she sensed his power, Naruto was at the level of a god, which was truly alarming to him, since the power of a god varies greatly, from a common demigod to Indra and Shiva, who were the top if you don't take into account the dragon gods. But according to her mother, RIAS's love for this human is legitimate, and if she doesn't want to earn her sister's hatred, she will have to respect it. She also learned that her father and he get along wonderfully, which worries and confuses her even more. Surzex, Chief Uzumaki, what a coincidence, did you come for a visit or is it for political reasons? Sits on the sofa opposite Naruto and Grafia stands behind him. Naruto, I've come here so RIAS can teach me how to use the cell phone. He shows the cell phone. RIAS gave it to me so we can communicate from world to world without having to send messages through toads, but I've spent hours trying to learn how to use it, and so far I can only make calls with it. A bead of sweat appeared on the back of Surzek's neck when he heard that because of how ridiculous it sounded, but that thought quickly faded from his mind when he remembered that the crow had told him that cell phones hadn't been invented in their world yet, so it made sense that he didn't have the slightest idea how to use it. He was also surprised that his sister hadn't included instructions, but knowing her better than anyone, she had done it on purpose so that he would be the one to come and ask for help. However, as the loving and overprotective brother he is, he would prevent that from happening. If that's the problem, do you want me to explain how to use it? Naruto, a little surprised, really? Surzex nods and Naruto smiles amusedly, thank you very much. He doesn't finish his sentence because he remembers that the background images on his phone are such revealing photos of his sister, and he remembers from Akino that his brother is a siscon, so if he looks at the images, this won't end well. Surzex, confused, is something wrong? Naruto, nervous, no, nothing. I appreciate your help, but I'd better wait until RIAS appears and shows me how to use it, since according to her letter, the phone was modified by King Beelzebub for my convenience, and only she knows what he modified. Surzex mentally sharpened his gaze and knew she was hiding something. He smiled cheerfully. Oh, don't worry, I know what modifications you're referring to, and whatever she's done doesn't affect the phone's general use. I can teach you how to use it, I have time right now, and it's not that complicated. Naruto smiles, not showing his nervousness. Thank you very much, but I must insist on waiting since I'm sure that even with this time you still have more important things to do than teach me how to use this thing. Sirzex is insistent, that's true, but I have no problem helping my brother-in-law. Besides, my other tasks aren't an immediate priority. Naruto, even more nervous, thank you very much, King Lucifer, but I'm afraid I must say no, as I don't think it's right to dedicate your time to such a mundane task as teaching me how to use a cell phone. Sirzex, already a little annoyed but not showing it, said, it's no problem, much less a mundane task, to help my brother-in-law use a communication device, but I understand your point of view, or is it, his gaze sharpened, are you trying to hide something? Naruto, extremely nervous, no, of course not, how is he supposed to be hiding something if he doesn't even know how to use this thing? Sirzex smiles, so what's the problem with you not wanting me to teach you? Naruto smiles, why don't I just want to? An awkward silence passed between them for a couple of minutes, and then Sirzex, losing patience, jumped up to try and grab the phone, but Naruto dodged him. What are you hiding? Naruto asked nervously, acting childishly. I already told you nothing. Sirzex tried again to grab the phone, and Naruto dodged him again. And if it's nothing, why are you so determined to stop me from teaching you? Naruto, worried and changing the subject, asked, why are you so insistent on teaching me how to use it? Sirzex became sly. Could it be that you don't want me to look at the background image, right? At that moment, Naruto's skin prickled with goosebumps, and Sirzex noticed. Just as I suspected, Sirzex smiles, closing his eyes, and Naruto does the same. They both start laughing, while a bead of sweat appears on the back of Graphia's neck. They both fall silent, and after an awkward 30-second silence, Sirzex jumps at Naruto to take his phone. Let me see what image it is. Naruto steps aside. I refuse. He runs out of the building like a bat out of hell, and Sirzex starts chasing him. Then begins a chase that, instead of being worrying, is totally ridiculous and funny throughout Kuo Academy. All the students are confused by the pursuit of both men. Graphia, tired of the situation, goes to where they both are and tells her husband to stop. The blow was so strong that it left a rather pronounced crack in the ground, making Naruto wonder if she had killed him. After repairing the floor and erasing the students' memories of what happened, they both sat back down on the sofas. Naruto had a large drop of sweat on the back of his neck when he saw the huge bump on Sirzek's head from Graphia's punch. Sirzek coughs and smiles, so, what do you think of my sister and her entourage? A blank Naruto, what? You're just turning a blind eye on what happened, you bastard. Sirzek smiles while Graphia, with a murderous aura, is behind him, of course, because I fear for my life. Naruto falls to the ground after hearing that. Naruto composed himself, sighed, and proceeded to answer the question. In what sense are you asking? Shizex, more relaxed, replied, generally speaking, how do you consider my sister and her entourage? Normally, my sister introduces people close to her, but considering the raiding game with the Phoenix clan, I'm sure she didn't introduce her entourage until a couple of weeks before the encounter, in addition to the fact that they've been married for these 3 years. I adore my sister, but I recognize that she has a certain character trait and personality aspects that she needs to work on. Naruto, calm and frank, well, I'll be honest and frank since there's no point in lying. When I met your sister, it was when she came to my world looking for allies for her entourage more than 3 years ago, but she didn't count on the fact that in my world demons are no different from animals and that they are hunted the moment they appear on the surface, so they gave her a home almost instantly upon arriving in my world. Sirzek gives him his full attention. Naruto continued speaking, she was saved by my master, may he rest in peace, and she told him the purpose of her visit to this world. How she arrived in my world is completely unknown to me. My master offered her the alternative of a marriage outside the laws of her own reality, in which I became involved. Sirzek sighs as Graphia retreats to the kitchen to fetch tea. I knew this was all a charade to get out of the arranged marriage, but I don't blame her for the attitude of the Phoenix heir apparent. I must assume that if you're still here it's because of the trouble caused by your student and Miss Ravel Phoenix. Naruto nods his head, indeed, All of this was supposed to end a month after the rating game, in which RIAS would ask me for a divorce due to political situations and the convenience of traveling between worlds and thus separating any political or other issues from both realities. But that fell apart with the events of the rating game, and now my student and Miss Ravel are the ones compromised by the damage to the Phoenix's image. Naruto clears his throat and Graphia approaches, offering him a cup of tea, which Naruto accepts with a thank you and takes a sip. So now we find ourselves in this possible predicament. RIAS has been helping me understand the relationships and customs of this reality much better, both human and inhuman. That's why I come to visit her from time to time, and it's also the purpose of the cell phone. Graphia gives Surzex a cup of tea and he thanks her too. I understand, so the whole Uzumaki reproduction thing is a farce. Naruto calmly, not entirely. While it's true that my clan's vitality is much greater than any other, I don't think there's a solid basis on which I could guarantee that it would improve the procreation of your species, because those were times of war. Surzex sighed. I feared as much. The birth rate in my nation is truly alarming. Approximately 1 in every 5,000 attempts at reproduction results in a pregnancy, and that number varies depending on each demon and their power and qualities. It took me 3,000. He couldn't finish the sentence because he was struck by his queen, many years of power to have my son Millicast with me. A bead of sweat trickled down Naruto's cheek as he took in the scene, but he quickly composed himself. Yes, Ria-san told me about these problems. If all goes well, I can help you with them through my village's laboratories. Surzex looked interested. Really? Naruto smiled slightly. That's right. Perhaps this type of technology, he gestured to the cell phone, isn't our forte, but I can guarantee that our chemistry and biology are far superior to the standards of this world. Perhaps through them we can solve the problem that you haven't been able to solve with the technology here. Surzex, serious, I would like you not to take this matter lightly. There really are many demons who want children and have gone centuries without being able to have one. If we look at it that way, we were very lucky. Naruto calmly said, it's not a guarantee, but it's worth a try after all. You have nothing to lose, right? Surzex pondered silently as Naruto finished his cup of tea. Anyway, I think Rias will be busy with her work, so I'll ask Sona-san for help with the phone issue since I won't have time to do it later. Surzex sharpens his gaze. You have no problem with my sister's friend and rival, and now if I remember correctly, also a fiancé to teach you a lesson, but you do with me. Naruto scratches his head nervously. Well, he pretends to have a watch. Oh, look at the time, it's late, I have to go, see you. He disappears in a puff of smoke. Surzex sighed at that. It was more than clear that the phone contained a revealing image of his sister, but he wanted to verify it since he had overheard in one of his mother's conversations that Rias had real feelings for Naruto, although he didn't know how strong they were. If Rias's original plan was to separate the interests of both worlds once the rating game was over, they shouldn't be very strong, but knowing his sister's nature, it wouldn't surprise him if Naruto had a picture like that as his phone's background. Naruto approaches Sona and asks for her help in learning how to use the phone. Since she had nothing better to do, she agrees to help him learn how to use it. And clearly, since Sona is interested in Naruto, she started flirting with him, but she was much more subtle and gentle than Rias was. Sona wasn't surprised in the slightest that the phone had revealing background images of Rias. She's always been like that since they met. Naruto asked Sona if she could change the background image to a standard one, which is a clear example of how Rias's actions made Naruto uncomfortable, even if only slightly. She is aware of Rias's flirting attempts and it's more than clear that she knows they weren't going to work, at least not like this one. If Naruto comes from a world with a culture similar to traditional Japan, those over-the-top flirting attempts will fail most of the time. Instead of attracting Naruto, she's only pushing him away. Sona doesn't need to investigate Naruto to know he's a simple man with more romantic than perverted tastes. Sona gave her advice, but apparently she hasn't followed any of it, but that's for the best. She has more free space to flirt with him. After all, she has free reign to do so because nobody except her sister and obviously Rias complained about it. After 2 hours of explanation in the most focused and simple way possible, Naruto already masters the use of all the phone's components. Naruto thanked Sona for her time, and she said it wasn't a big deal, adding that if he needed help with anything and it was within her reach, she would gladly help him. Naruto thanked Sona for her words and said goodbye to her, but not before she gave him a kiss on the cheek with a sensual look in her eyes, causing Naruto to feel a shiver that he neither knew nor wanted to interpret, and he returned to the elemental nations. 4 hours later, RIAS and Sona meet at the hot springs in the institution, which are exclusively for them, while Akino and Tsubaki are carrying out important work with their respective entourages. RIAS sighs, "Why didn't he come?" Sona calmly, "You mean Naruto-san?" RIAS nods, "Yes, I asked Beelzebub not to include all the phone's instructions so I could teach him how to use it." Sona laughs softly, confusing RIAS, "What's so funny?" Sona calmly replies, "He did come, but he arrived while you were hunting down the rogue demons at the ex-priest's request. Since he couldn't find you and didn't have time to wait, he asked me for help." RIAS, bewildered, "Huh. And why did you accept?" Sona, "Why shouldn't I? Remember?" RIAS glares at her, making a face as she recalls the peace and the commitments. "I should have expected it." Sona smiles slightly, "Better luck next time." RIAS glances surreptitiously at Sona and gets annoyed again at the memory of the peace. "Is something wrong, RIAS?" RIAS shifts her attention to another topic. "Nothing, I was just thinking about our brother's meeting with the angels and the fallen angels in 2 months. My brother mentioned it to me today when I found him at the mansion." Sona, focused, "My sister mentioned it to me yesterday. In my case, I'd just like to know why they want to hold it in Kuil." RIAS sighs, "I'd like to know too, as long as this doesn't get out of hand, all the better for us." Sona confirms, "I agree, that meeting is a very tightrope walk between finding peace between us or a new war." They both finish showering and each one retires to her respective home. Meanwhile, Naruto, knowing how to use the cell phone, doesn't hesitate to take a picture with his daughter, both with huge smiles, and set it as his cell phone background. End of chapter. Chapter 23 Christmas Special *. 5 days had passed since his area taught him how to use the special mobile phone. Naruto was working on delivering packages of extremely delicate goods to several companies that were newly set up in Konoha. Since they didn't fit in the main city, they started to settle in the new lands located on top of Hokage Face Mountain. Naruto wasn't exactly the most suitable person to do these kinds of tasks, but they were the only ones he was allowed to do for obvious reasons. Naruto was the most powerful shinobi on the planet at that time. Any S-class mission would be a walk in the park. So, instead of giving those missions to him, they give them to the other ninjas so they can develop more skills and combat abilities. Naruto had to resign himself to the fact that field missions were no longer for him. The only one he did, in quotes, was to save Hinata, but that was actually done by the blood clone he had left to resolve the issue of his daughter and Rias's engagement. This task took him all night and all he wants is to say hello to his daughter and go to sleep for a while. Naruto tries to enter his house, but is pushed back by a hand, disconcerting him. "What the?" He tries to open the door, but in vain, and then he hears his daughter's voice, "You can't come in, Dad." This puzzled Naruto. "Why is that?" His daughter replied, "Come back tonight." The answer confused Naruto even more and then he heard Shizen's voice, "Things that women shouldn't teach her, Naruto, come back when we're finished." That confused him even more, but Akane is 3 years old, she's still too young for that kind of conversation. Shizen replied, "Don't worry, it's not that kind of conversation yet, but it's still girl stuff." Her daughter continued her dialogue, "That's right, Dad, girl stuff." Naruto scratches his head in confusion. "I don't understand anything," his daughter replies. "See you tonight, Dad. You won't regret it." Naruto sighs and leaves. "If you say so." Naruto grimaces. "Kicked out of my own house, an everyday occurrence." He starts to think. What will I do now? An idea comes to him. I'll see if Shikamaru is busy. However, Naruto wasn't so lucky, as all his friends were busy with work-related matters they couldn't put aside. What bad luck, everyone's busy. He sighed and wondered what Issei was doing at the moment. I wonder what he's doing. He asks the frogs to take him there, and they respond to his call. He enters the occult club only to find it empty. A frog tells him they went on a mission that required everyone's presence. He thought he'd find them here since it's 7 p.m., cursing his luck. Well, I'll go see what Sona's doing. Maybe she'll accept a game of chess while I wait. Naruto heads to the student council room to meet Tsubaki. Hello Tsubaki, isn't Sona here? Tsubaki is a little surprised by Naruto's appearance. but answers his question. Good evening, Naruto-sama. Sona-sama is on an important mission, and I'm heading there right now. Naruto deflates like a balloon. What bad luck, everyone's busy today. Tsubaki asks curiously, is something wrong? Naruto scratches his head with a slight smile. Well, I don't have anything better to do and my daughter is with Shizunekin about something they don't want me involved in, so I have the whole day free. At that, Tsubaki has an idea. In that case, would you like to help us? Naruto is surprised by the invitation. What's it about? Tsubaki explains, it's a job for a client who needs help at his restaurant because some of his waiters quit and others got sick for different reasons, and he's alone at the moment. And today there's a festival commemorating a shrine in Tokyo, and he asked for our help. Naruto, curious about the shrine, asked, a shrine? It's not dangerous for you. Tsubaki adjusted her glasses. We won't be near it, so there's no danger at all. Naruto considered it and, having nothing better to do, agreed. Very well, count me in. Tsubaki smiles with satisfaction. Thank you very much, Naruto-sama. I promise your help will be rewarded. Naruto gestures with his hands. No need, it will be a pleasure to help. Tsubaki prepares the magic circle and Naruto enters it, and they are taken directly to the restaurant where everyone is already working. The restaurant has a rather strange appearance to Naruto, but he assumes it's a normal appearance for people in this reality. Just then, Sona arrives to greet Tsubaki, who was the last to arrive because she was taking care of some errands, and is surprised to see her next to Naruto. Naruto-san. What are you doing here? Before she can say anything, Tsubaki answers for him. Naruto-sama doesn't have any other activities at the moment, so I asked him to help us with Lord Yoritoba's request. She leans in to whisper in his ear. Besides, I thought it would be an excellent move against RIAS-sama, having her husband on our side. Sona smiles and whispers, well done. She turns her attention to Naruto. I see, thank you very much for coming to help us, Naruto-san. Naruto looks closely at Sona and blushes internally at the sight of the maid outfit she is wearing, as it highlights her violet eyes. It suits her perfectly. And it didn't help that Sona approached him with the purpose of getting a better look at her. Upon hearing Sona's voice, Naruto shook himself before anyone thought he was acting strangely and smiled nervously at her. It's nothing, I really don't have anything better to do, and it seems like an excellent idea. It's been a long time since I've done a job like this, he. Naruto cursed inwardly. Damn it, I fell for Sona's eyes again. I know her intentions, and yet I still let her charm me. Sona smiles, seeing that she was able to stir something within Naruto upon seeing her dressed like this. Just then, the restaurant owner, Mr. Yoritoba, arrived. He was a robust, elderly gentleman with a kind face. Is something wrong, Sona-chan? Sona introduced Naruto and Tsubaki. She's my partner, the one I mentioned you needed, and he's a friend who came to help. Mr. Yoritoba smiled. I see. Thank you very much for helping this old man. Naruto raises his hand. You don't have to do that, it's part of the job. The old man smiles at him. Very good, that's the attitude. He shows him a maid outfit similar to Sona's. Put this on, Naruto, confused and puzzled. Excuse me. Then Tsubaki appears beside him, already wearing her maid outfit. The uniform fits her like a glove. All he can think about her at this moment is that it looks fantastic and quite sexy on her. He pretends that seeing her like this doesn't bother him. We're all wearing the same style of uniform since Mr. Yoritoba only has female employees, even Saji is wearing it. She points to Saji waiting tables in a waitress's uniform. It suited her to a certain extent, but her embarrassed face at wearing a skirt was noticeable from here to the elemental nations. Mr. Yoritoba explains, the theme of this restaurant is maids, so that has to be preserved even with men who want to work here, of course. Naruto looks at Tsubaki, and she just pretends by looking away. She clearly knew that would happen and it's a way of indirectly helping her queen. Well, what does it matter in that case? I'll use the jutsu. He was about to say his signature jutsu but Mr. Yoritoba raised his hand to stop him. Please, no magic. I know it's easy for demons, but I'd prefer you didn't use your magic or any kind of ability near the temple. I don't want to get into trouble. Contacting you for help was risky enough. Naruto deflates again. Okay. He slaps his face a couple of times. In that case, we just have to do it right. Yoritoba gives a thumbs up, that's the spirit. Naruto takes the uniform and enters the room that Tsubaki pointed out where she changed. He strikes an epic pose. I need that energy to defeat my twin brother. Naruto listens while getting dressed. His brother? He strikes a rivalry pose. That's right, my whole life I've competed against my brother in everything. We even compete over which of our wives is the better choice, even which of our children will be the most successful, but we always end up tied in everything, absolutely everything. But today that will end with your help. Today I will emerge victorious, ha 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 ha. He bends over a little. Ouch, my back. Tsubaki uses some healing magic on his back. A drop of sweat appears on the back of Naruto's neck. He tries to put on the top part of the dress, but he has never worn one in his life because with the sexy jutsu it was instantaneous since it is only an illusion. With a bit of embarrassment, she asks for help. Girls, I can't put the horse on properly, I'm embarrassed, but can you help me? Tsubaki was about to go when she gave her instructions. Leave it to me, go help the others. Tsubaki nods and leaves. Sona enters the staff room. Excuse me, I'll help you. She looks at Naruto trying to put on his dress. The scene would have amused her if it weren't for the fact that she was staring hypnotically at Naruto's slender and muscular figure as well as his long legs already wearing the long black stockings of the suit, making her blush deeply. At that moment Naruto calls her. Sona, is something wrong? Sona realizes she's been staring like an idiot and gives herself a couple of internal slaps, immediately returning to her normal expression. No, I just find it a little funny how you're trying to position the horse, Naruto says, narrowing his eyes. It's not funny at all, the idea of dressing like this is embarrassing enough. Sona laughs softly, I like what I see. Naruto, I'd say that could be a game for two, but since your intentions are clear, that's what you'd like me to do. She sounds a little mischievous, and what's stopping you? She strikes a slightly suggestive pose, but leaning more towards the tender than the sexy. Naruto trying not to see, come to think of it, I need help. Sona laughs a little, hee hee, don't say that, now leave it to me. Naruto lets go of the dress and Sona puts the corset on him snugly so that it fits him well. There, I'll wait outside for you to finish getting ready. Naruto turns around and smiles at her. Thank you very much Sona. Sona returns the gesture. Thank you for the help. She leaves the staff room. Naruto puts on the headband and heeled boots that Mr. Yoritoba left for him in his size in the room and leaves the staff room in the maid uniform. With his sexy jutsu there's no problem, but with his real body it's embarrassing even for him. He had to get used to the idea that he'd be dressed like this for several hours, so he mentally prepared himself to do it cheerfully and energetically. Girls, how do I look? He asks, striking a maid pose. At that moment, the girls stared at him, making Naruto nervous. Who knows where they got the makeup from, and before he could escape, they put a little here and there on him, making Naruto even more handsome. Tsubaki approaches with Sona and places her hands together. She looks wonderful, Naruto-sama, no one will think she's a boy. Momo, and all it took was a little lipstick and eyeshadow hee 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 hee. Naruto, a little depressed, that doesn't help my male self-esteem. The fact that he was born with his mother's face, added to his naturally slender body and that he has a slightly large butt, does nothing to help his male self-esteem. Tsubaki, confused, I thought that for someone who created the sexy jutsu, that was irrelevant. Naruto felt like he was being stabbed and, a little annoyed, said, one thing has nothing to do with the other. Tsubaki, surprised, said sarcastically, really? Sona stared at Naruto's legs and rear, noticing how much better the stockings and skirt looked on him than on her, making her a little jealous and blushed slightly. She mentally tried to shake off those thoughts and cleared her throat. Alright, we have work to do. Naruto nods and goes with Mr. Yoritoba to follow instructions and asks him to attend to the tables that are outside the restaurant. Naruto tells himself mentally that he should be glad that nobody in this place knows him beyond RIAS and Sona's entourages. With RIAS is taking a picture with one of the customers, as this is one of the services offered by the restaurant. The customer is a student from the academy who stopped by the restaurant while attending the sanctuary. RIAS hands her phone to the girl. Here you go, teacher. The girl smiles at her. Thank you very much, RIAS-senpai. RIAS laughs slightly. You don't have to, teacher. I hope my services have been to your liking. I'll take my leave. She bows and goes to the dining room to collect more orders when Akino approaches with a smile that indicated that she had some very good gossip. RIAS, curious, is something wrong, Akino? She laughed slightly. "Ria-sama, I think you might be interested in seeing the restaurant where Sona-sama is." Rias, confused, "Why is that?" "We already know Sona is helping the restaurant owner's twin brother." Akino laughs, further confusing Rias. She'll find a most interesting surprise while helping Sona-sama. She leaves the restaurant to see what she means, and after observing for a few seconds, her eyes widen when she sees Naruto dressed as a maid. She stared at him as her husband made the same gestures a maid would, in such a natural and even seductive way. The maid's outfit suited him so sensually and sexily that it made her blush bright red and even give her a nosebleed. Asia, who was attending to those arriving, noticed this and went to help her. "Are you alright, Ria-sama?" she asked, wiping her nose with a napkin. "If I'm alright," Issei said, approaching with concern. He was wearing a butler's uniform and serving drinks alongside Kiba. "Is something wrong, President?" Rias points to the other restaurant and both of them widen their eyes when they see Naruto. "Naruto-senpai." After getting over her moment of lust, Rias starts to get angry and picks up her phone and calls Sona. After a few seconds, Sona answers, "What's wrong, Rias?" Rias angrily, "Don't you think using my husband against me is playing dirty?" Sona laughs slightly in a cheeky way, "I don't recall any rules against asking others for help. Besides, it was pure coincidence since he was talking to you, and when he couldn't find you he came to us and one thing led to another and here he is. Also I remind you that he is also my fiancé." Rias starts to get angrier, but still, asking her to help them. Sona interrupts, "What, don't you like the view?" "Well, apparently the customers do, and me too. I didn't know I had such a nice backside. More and more people want to be served by Naruto and take pictures with him. It's a shame his wife can't do the same." Rias's face turns bright red, but with anger, "I'll make you eat those words." Sona laughs, "I'd be disappointed if you didn't," hangs up. Akino approaches along with Kiba and Kaneko because they found Rias's behavior strange. Rias swallows her anger before throwing a tantrum and looks at her entourage. "Sona is using Naruto against us, we can't afford to be outmatched, we have to double our efforts to win this match, so use your entire arsenal." Everyone raises their hand. "Yes, Ria-sama." Issei raises his hand, but confused, he wonders internally, what arsenal is that? Rias asked Mr. Sarantino for permission to do this, and seeing that her intention was to surpass the competition, he gave her the go-ahead. She changed her maid's dress for a more provocative one that showed off her toned waist, as well as a low-cut neckline and a slightly shorter skirt. And the girls began to serve the customers in a more provocative way, each in their own style, while Kiba did what he could to captivate the girls, and Issei, not knowing what to do, simply dedicated himself to doing his job in the most professional and eye-catching way possible. Sona noticed this and encouraged her entourage to do the same, starting a fierce rivalry between the two restaurants. Sona's entourage is larger, but Rias has more attractive women on her side, according to comments from customers who went to both restaurants out of morbid curiosity. But everyone agrees that Naruto gets the desired attention from many women as well as from some, if not many, men who were unaware of Naruto's sexuality and his perfect maid performance. After 7 intense hours, both restaurants close and the twin brothers meet with their respective entourages to see how much income they earned. Upon seeing Rias, Naruto is surprised. "Rias?" She looks at Naruto, makes a face, and looks away, causing a bead of sweat to form on the back of his neck. Saji whispers to Naruto, "The twin brother of the one who hired us also had the idea of contacting demons, and in this case it was Rias, which doesn't surprise me if you ask me." Naruto, understanding the situation, "I see, but why the long face?" Saji laughs nervously, "I don't think she liked that her husband helped her rival in this competition. Hehehe." Naruto understands and a bead of sweat appears on the back of his neck, realizing he's indirectly put his foot in it. "I see." The twins counted the income and both sighed at the result. "A tie again," said Sarantino disappointedly. "Accept it, brother, we are destined to always be equal," said Yoritoba with disappointment in his voice. Sarantino looks at his brother, "Not even with the help of demons could we achieve the inequality we sought for years." Yoritoba is proud, "We are destined for greatness." Sarantino laughs, grabbing his brother's shoulder, "You said it, ha 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 ha." They both start laughing. Both Sona's group and Rias's group chuckle with joy at seeing that the siblings' rivalry is always friendly and there are no bigger problems stemming from it. Sarantino looks at Rias and Yoritoba at Sona, telling them to pay them as they had both agreed, accepting the conditions set in the contract with both of them. Naruto went to change while they did their business, but he was stopped by Kaneko, who grabbed his skirt, surprising him since Kaneko usually doesn't speak to him. Ria-sama says to wait before changing. Naruto raises an eyebrow. She didn't tell you why. She shakes her head. Naruto, confused, nods. Okay, I'll wait. Kaneko thanks them and leaves. After 15 minutes, both Rias and Sona finished talking to the twins, while the rest of Rias and Sona's entourage had already changed into their school uniforms. Sona approaches Naruto to thank him for his participation. Thank you very much for your help. Maybe we didn't win, but at least we met both gentlemen's expectations. Naruto cheerfully, it wasn't for nothing, to a certain extent it was fun and besides it made the time I needed. Sona nods and begins to leave. Very well, in that case we'll be going. I'm sure you want to talk to Rias, so I wish you a good night and thank you for your participation. It was fun and cute to see you wearing a skirt with that backside of yours. Naruto blushed at that and awkwardly covered his rear end. Naruto's embarrassed expression only made Sona happier, much to Naruto's annoyance. Sona says goodbye along with Tsubaki and the rest. See you later. Naruto blushed. Did I really have to say that at the end? Damn it. Then he feels Riasa's annoyed gaze, a grimace on her face. Naruto, why didn't you call me to ask where I was? I would have loved to have you with us, helping us. Naruto scratches his head, having forgotten that he can call Rias on the phone. He's not used to using it. Sorry, I forgot. I'm not familiar with this technology, and it didn't even occur to me to look for other ways to contact you. Rias sighs at that. Well, I guess it doesn't matter anymore. Please, if you need our help, call us so you don't have to resort to Sona. Naruto raises an eyebrow. Is it jealousy? Rias opens up. Yes, it's no secret to anyone that I want to spend time with you when you come over, and I'm unlucky enough to be busy elsewhere or you spend that time training Issei. Rias looks at Naruto, a little sadly. I know you're not obligated to spend time with me, and you have every right not to communicate with us, but you know my feelings for you are sincere, and I know you're still resentful about our daughter. But I would like you to give me the chance to have something more than just being Akane's parents, even if there are other girls involved. Meanwhile, Rias's entourage watches the scene from afar, and Akino tells them to leave them alone and they retire to their homes to rest. Naruto knows what Rias said but still feels bad about the situation. Naruto wants to involve his world more than he already has, but something tells him that this is just the beginning of a big disaster. Naruto checks the time and realizes he still has 4 hours before he has to go home. Since he has nothing better to do, he sighs and resigns himself to staying for today. I have 4 free hours right now, do you want to do something? Riasa's eyes lit up when she heard that. She smiled broadly and then asked to make a request. Sure, right now I want us to take a picture. Naruto, confused, a photo. Rias looked cheerful but tried to hide it in her usual tone. Yes, while you pose in that maid outfit with me. Naruto's face lit up red. What? What kind of photo? Rias smiles. Relax, it's not what you're thinking, just a picture of us together in front of the camera. Naruto sighs in relief. Well, I don't see the problem with doing that. They take the picture. Rias asked him for help taking hers off. He only unbuttoned the top part and left the room, feeling a little disappointed. Rias had to remember that Naruto wasn't Issei, so she had to take things more slowly. Although she admitted that she would love to take him to bed, she still had a fresh memory of when they did it for the first and only time. Rias uses her magic to change into a more appropriate outfit, since they are technically on a date night in the streets of Tokyo. There weren't many things they could both do at 2 a.m., but Rias would spend those 4 hours with Naruto, even if it meant she wouldn't sleep that day, even though she was tired. Rias looked up things to do on her phone and discovered a movie theater that's open 24 hours showing old movies and asked if she'd like to go. Naruto told her that anything is fine, this time is just for her. She cheerfully took him to the cinema to see a 90s movie. He thought she would take him to see some kind of romantic movie or something to get into the mood, but he was surprised when she chose one called Saving Private Ryan from 1998. It's been more than 20 years since this movie was released in theaters. The film caught Rias's attention when she read its synopsis. Following the Normandy landings during World War II, where many Allied combatants died, a group of American soldiers is chosen to carry out their last mission, to save a single man who is on the other side of enemy lines. Captain John Miller's, Tom Hanks, patrol must risk their lives to find and bring home safely Private James Ryan, Matt Damon, whose 3 brothers have died in the war. They entered the movie theater where Naruto first bought snacks, and upon entering the room he saw RIAS sitting in her seat waiting for him. Naruto passed her the drink and she extended her hand for him to take a seat. He took a seat and after a few minutes the movie started. It lasts 2 hours and 49 minutes, and throughout the entire show RIAS didn't let go of his hand. They were the only ones in the room, much to RIAS's delight. A grand movie theater just for the 2 of them. Naruto admits that he liked the movie because he was unaware of the war conflicts of the humans in this reality, and it perfectly portrays what war is like in the eyes of soldiers who do the impossible to survive. He knows it better than many people. He participated in one. While the film was being produced, there were comments from both of them, saying that since they were alone, they weren't bothering anyone, and even if they had, RIAS wouldn't have cared. They leave the movie theater and head to the coast to see the ocean since there is nothing else open except nightclubs or bars, things that RIAS is not interested in yet since she doubted that Naruto was a dancer and also she felt tired at that moment. RIAS asked Naruto to contemplate the sea for the last hour in silence. She, a little afraid of putting her foot in it, hugged his arm and clung to him for that hour in the most tender way possible. The few people who were still awake in the area felt envious of Naruto for being accompanied by such a beautiful woman. Their interaction was brief, but magical for RIAS, while Naruto, on the other hand, was happy that RIAS enjoyed it, even though they didn't do much. When the time came, he wanted to tell RIAS, but she was asleep, leaning against his arm. Naruto found it endearing to see her like that, but that feeling didn't last long when he saw RIAS trying to undress in public while still asleep. Remembering that she wasn't able to sleep fully clothed, before a catastrophe could occur that they both might regret, he decided to take her to the occult research club and put her to bed. He wanted to let go of her, but RIAS wouldn't let him go as she clung to his arm. To return to his daughter, Naruto decided to take off his jacket and give it to her so he could break free from her grip. RIAS hugged the jacket tightly and Naruto retreated. In the elemental nations, night had already fallen and Naruto stood in front of his house hoping that he could finally go inside. He opens the door and enters his house, but is confused by the fact that the lights are off, which is strange because Akane is supposed to be here. "My child, are you here?" At that moment all the lights turned on instantly and in front of him are his daughter and Shizune dressed in red with strange features that confuse Naruto. In fact, look around the entire interior of the house and it's covered in strange lights and decorations, plus a pine tree full of ornaments. Both in unison, "Merry Christmas, Naruto," confused, "Huh?" Akane approaches with a gift for her dad. "Merry Christmas, Dad," Naruto, puzzled, takes the gift. "Christmas? What's that?" He looks at Shizune for an explanation, and she, noticing, tells him, it was her idea. It's a tradition from her mother's world that happens around this time of year. Akane smiles happily at her. "Mom says Christmas is the best holiday of the year, spending time with family and giving gifts to others. I know that doesn't exist here, so I wanted to celebrate with Dad in his world. That's why I asked Shizune Wanichan for help with all this. I just had to wait for a moment when Dad wasn't home to do it." She smiles broadly. "Do you like it?" "I put a lot of effort into it." Naruto couldn't help but cry at his daughter's gesture, but Akane's innocent, young heart misinterpreted her father's tears and she became depressed. "Dad, are you okay? Don't you like me? Did I do something wrong?" Shizune approaches to explain. "Those are tears of joy. It doesn't mean she feels bad or that you've done anything wrong. It means she likes me a lot and that's why she's shedding those tears." Akane is surprised. "Really?" Naruto approaches, wiping away his tears with a sincere smile. "That's right, thank you so much for the wonderful gift." Akane smiles broadly. "You're welcome, Dad." Naruto hugs his daughter tightly and she returns the hug while Shizune looks into the background with a huge smile at the scene she is witnessing. Akane steps aside slightly and says, "Would you like to try some Christmas food? I made it with Shizune One-chan's help." Naruto picks her up, "Of course, my beautiful girl," and they head to the kitchen with Shizune behind them. End of chapter. Chapter 24, What Happened That Night. In the past, Naruto swallowed hard, his eyes wide, trying not to stare at RIAS's almost exposed figure. At this age, he was still learning about romance and intimacy, and RIAS's bold actions were pushing boundaries he'd never even considered. But the tingling sensation in his stomach and the warmth that spread through his body when he saw her was undeniable. RIAS-chan, are you sure? Naruto stammered, his face flushed. Despite his words, he couldn't tear his gaze away from the seductive sight of RIAS in her revealing underwear, quite sensual for her age, her creamy skin seeming to glow in the spotlight. RIAS bit her thick lower lip, a mischievous glint in her eyes as she saw the effect she was having on Naruto. She crawled toward him across the floor, swaying hypnotically, until she was kneeling between his legs. She placed her hands on his thighs, feeling the firm muscle beneath her fingers. "Don't worry, Naruto-kun. I know what I'm doing," she purred in a low, seductive voice. "I want to make you feel really good." She began to trace his thighs slowly and provocatively with her hands, a light and tempting touch. Naruto shuddered, holding his breath as he felt her fingers dance over his skin. He knew he should stop her, but he was unable to resist the allure of her touch, the promise of unknown pleasures it offered. RIAS moved closer, her lips brushing against Naruto's ear as she whispered, "Relax, Naruto-kun, and let me take care of everything. I promise, you won't regret it." With that, she pressed her lips to his in a deep, sensual kiss, her tongue darting out to tease him and open his mouth. Naruto hesitated for only a moment before surrendering to the kiss, his tongue entangling with hers as a soft moan escaped his lips. As they kissed, RIAS continued her sensual assault, her hands roaming over Naruto's body, exploring every angle and plane of his young, virgin body. RIAS's hands slid under Naruto's shirt, spreading her fingers across his chest, feeling the warmth of his skin and the rapid beating of his heart. He could feel the heat rising between them, the air thickening with a new tension that Naruto had never experienced before. His body responded instinctively to her touch, tensing and relaxing his muscles as waves of pleasure coursed through him. Breaking the kiss, RIAS pulled back slightly, her eyes glazed with renewed longing as she gazed at Naruto. Her lips were swollen and moist, glistening in the candlelight. She licked them, her tongue lingering at the curve of her lower lip. With that, she began to place hot, open-mouthed kisses along Naruto's neck and collarbone, her tongue peeping out to taste his skin. Naruto gasped, throwing his head back as waves of pleasure coursed through his body, settling heavily in his lower belly. RIAS's hands slid down to the waistband of Naruto's pants, her fingers toying with the fabric. She could feel the growing bulge beneath it, evidence of Naruto's arousal. She licked her lips, a mischievous smile spreading across her face as she peered at him from beneath her lowered eyelashes. "Looks like someone's happy to see me," he purred, giving the bundle a gentle, provocative squeeze. "Don't worry, Naruto-kun. I'll take good care of it too." Author's note: due to YouTube's policies, I have to censor the audio of this scene. If you want to see it, let me know in the comments and I'll upload it to another channel and leave the link in the pinned comment. Now, let's skip this scene, which you can probably guess. 2 hours later. "Jiraiya, I hope my lust seal that I placed in the room encouraged the boy to do it, being as noble as he is, surely any attempt by the girl would have remained just that, that's why it was necessary to push him a little to make him do it, if he didn't, he has more resistance than I expected." Jiraiya removes all restrictions from the room and knocks on the door before speaking. "Jiraiya, brat, are you there?" Naruto heard his master's call, and where else would that old pervert be? "Will he finally let me out of here?" Jiraiya grimaces in disgust. In the end it was all for nothing. Jiraiya opens the door only to see Naruto sitting in shorts with an embarrassed face in front of RIAS wrapped in sheets covering the important parts, full of scratches, bruises, hickeys, bites. Her hair is a total mess but she is smiling like a drunk as if she had had the best night of her life. "Naruto, he's had that face for a while now and he's not reacting to anything I say, I think I broke him." Jiraiya grins shamelessly, "Ha ha ha, finally my student has become a man and fooled the first girl, well done lad." "Naruto, screw it, now what do I do? I can't leave her like this." "Jiraiya, don't worry about the wounds, they'll heal on their own. He's a demon after all. If you want him to stop making that face, give him a cold shower." "Naruto, should I go in the water with her?" "Jiraiya, does it even matter? You've already tasted every last inch of her foot, bathing her should be easy." Naruto in bright red, "No, no. Don't say it like that." "Jiraiya, well if that's the truth, just look at her, scratched, bitten, sucked, probably licked too, and look at her face, it looks like she had dozens of drinks before she passed out. Now take responsibility and bathe her, and while you're at it, take a bath yourself too, leaves the room. Chapter 25 The Beginning of the Problems. This story will feature many more characters from the world of Naruto. I hope you enjoy it. Naruto is with his daughter, letting her play with his hair. It's not exactly long, but that can be fixed by going to Ino, who apparently managed to find a way to make hair grow through a medical jutsu she developed while she was Tsunade's student. He studied enough to be an outstanding medical ninja, but not at the level of Sakura or Shizune, and that was enough for him to develop his jutsu to keep his hair always long. Naruto asked her to make it grow a few centimeters so that his daughter could manipulate it to style it, which Ino had no problem doing. Naruto could have simply used the sexy jutsu in which his version has longer hair and could manage it as she wished, but since his daughter wants her to use that hairstyle as a good father he wants to become, he let her do it. Akane, finishing the last touches with makeup, all done, Dad, she hands him a mirror, you look divine. Naruto happily asks, thank you, my beautiful princess. He takes the mirror and looks at himself in it. Akane, with a huge smile, so, do you like it? Naruto isn't a stylist, but he knew enough to recognize that this hairstyle has many flaws, but his daughter likes it, so he does too. Yes, very much, my princess, but one question, why the scar over her eye? Akane smiles broadly with a cat-like grin, feeling proud. Mom says you always need an intimidating cough and scars to be intimidating and also more attractive, although I don't understand that last part. A drop of sweat appears on the back of Naruto's neck, and he chuckles slightly about it. Just then, Naruto knocks on the door and looks at his daughter, go and gather your things, we'll go with Mom later. Akane happily, yes Dad, goes to pack her things to spend the next week with her mother. And he addresses her, who is it? Sakura, Naruto, I need to talk to you. Naruto opens the door, hi Sakura-chan, what do you need? Sakura was about to say something and looked at Naruto's hairstyle with a slight smile, phew, what's with that hairstyle, Naruto? Changing your look? Naruto scratches his head with a slight smile, my little girl is playing with my hair. Sakura, cheerful, I see. How are you finding being a father? Naruto, cheerful, at the beginning it was more than difficult, it was very strange, but now I'm doing great following the advice of several kunoichi who are mothers, as well as that of Professor Irika. Sakura, cheerful, I see, in that case there's nothing to worry about, an idea occurs to her and she begins to smile flirtatiously, so, when are you going to introduce her? Naruto, confused, to whom? Sakura cheerfully, well, who else? Her mother, of course, that special girl with whom you had your beautiful daughter Akane. We're all eager to meet her, we're all speculating about what she looks like, and it's about time you did. Naruto calmly, to her. Sakura, confused, her. You don't usually expect to hear that kind of answer when you ask something like that. Naruto, well, although we are currently married, the issue of love is one-sided. Sakura raises a worried eyebrow. Do you want to talk about it? I don't know much about these things, but maybe I can help. Naruto sighs inwardly, don't worry, it's not something I can't handle, it's just confusion on my part. Sakura worried, sure. Naruto nods, yes, I want to try to solve it myself, but when I'm cornered I won't hesitate to ask for help. Sakura sighs, okay Naruto, just one piece of advice, don't leave it until the last minute because then it will be too late. Naruto nods. Before they can say anything, they hear Akane's voice approaching from the back of the house. Akane cheerful, hello Sakura-chan. Sakura picks Akane up and hugs her with a huge smile, hi Akane-chan, how are you feeling, beautiful? Akane returns the hug and Sakura pulls her back slightly so she can speak, very well, Dad will take me to spend a week with Mom. Sakura, surprised, really? Naruto nods, she wants to show him some things about, you know. Sakura understands that he's referring to things related to demons, I see, in that case, take care, beautiful. Akane nods, yes. Sakura sets it down and looks at Naruto, by the way, I almost forgot why I'm here, Hokage-sama wants to see you in his office. Naruto, a little surprised, didn't he tell you why? Sakura denies, no, she said it was confidential on the part of the applicants. Naruto nods, understood, in that case I'll go, but first I'll leave Akane with her mother. Sakura, well, in any case, if you need help, don't hesitate to ask for it. Naruto, thank you very much, Sakura-chan. Sakura, in that case, I'll leave, I still have work to do, look, Akane, behave yourself and take good care of yourself. Akane, likewise, take care Sakura One-san. Naruto, have a great day. Sakura, likewise, leaves. As he watches her leave, Naruto sighs really loudly. He really wants to talk about it, but Sakura is the least suitable person to talk to. Naruto gave up on Sakura over a year ago and accepted that they will never be together, but unfortunately there are still traces of those feelings for her running through his mind that torment him, and seeing his daughter interacting with Sakura in that way did not help him eliminate them at all. There's still the issue of RIAS. Little by little he has felt emotions and feelings for her, but his infatuation at first sight with Sona doesn't allow him to fully feel the same for RIAS as he once felt for Sakura. And Sona's personality and character haven't helped him either, because Sona Citri is also a charming woman in her own way. If only Sona weren't the person she is, that crush would have disappeared in the first few days and she would be allowed to fall in love with RIAS more calmly. Naruto thinks to himself, this really sucks, I didn't think my toughest battle would be something like this. Then he feels his leg being moved and looks at his daughter. Is something wrong, Dad? Akane says with a worried face. Naruto picks up his daughter with a smile. Nothing, my little one, shall we go? Akane nods, yes. Naruto nods and performs the reverse summoning to reach Mount Mayaboku and head to the occult club. In the occult club, Naruto appears in the middle of the building, but as expected, there's no one inside. How unlucky must I be that every time I come here, nobody's here. Toad went out to carry out an emergency extermination of a fugitive demon. I told him I would be waiting for his arrival, Naruto-sama. Akane, a little discouraged, but he'll arrive soon, right? Naruto approaches one of the windows and sees that it is raining on a deep night. Toad, it's been a while since it came out, it shouldn't be long. Naruto is about to stop looking out the window when he suddenly feels really dark and hostile feelings in the distance and looks in the direction of the church. He sensed Kiba's hostility, so, worried, he decided to act. My princess, I need you to stay here and wait for your mother. Akane, confused, aren't you going to wait with me? Naruto smiles at him. I have to do something before I go back. Don't worry, Mom won't be long. He looks at the toad, make him one of his favorite snacks while he waits. Toad, understood, heads to the kitchen. Naruto kisses his daughter's forehead. Take care of yourself and don't get your mother into trouble, understood? Akane smiles, yes, Dad. She kisses him on the cheek, take care too. Naruto smiles back and leaves the occult club. 2 minutes after Naruto leaves, RIAS returns. Akane cheerful, Mamae. Little Akane jumps straight into her mother's arms with the help of her wings, which are still unable to fly but allow her to gain altitude. RIAS fervently returns the hug. Hi my little one, how have you been? Ready to spend the whole week with me? Akane smiles at her. Yes, I have a whole list of activities that Dad helped me do to spend time together. RIAS happily, I'm eager to do them. She looks around. By the way, where is it? Akane, she left recently, important things to do she told me, looks at the clock on a wall, 2 minutes ago. RIAS sighs in annoyance. The universe is against her, she can't seem to agree with him when he comes here. She just wants to spend a quiet night with her husband and daughter. Was that really too much to ask? It's true that Naruto now has a special cell phone, but they don't use it much because when he's awake she's asleep and vice versa. He sighs again. RIAS, oh well, are you hungry? Akane, a little. RIAS happily asks, very well, in that case let's go get something to eat. Akane, yes, ramen 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 ramen. RIAS laughs, ha 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 ha, you turned out just like your father. Meanwhile, 8 minutes earlier in the vicinity of the abandoned church. Kiba, agitated, Fried Selzen, are you still wandering around this city? Fried is a young man with short white hair and red eyes. As a priest, he wears clerical clothing and often has a disturbing smile on his face. Fried, overcome with emotion, I can't hold back the tears over this fateful reunion. Kiba angrily summoned one of his swords. I'm sorry, but I'm not in the mood for jokes right now. Fried excitedly, ha 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 ha, well, that's good news, I was getting bored of just killing priests. He activates his weapon. Kiba becomes agitated upon seeing the gleam of Fred's sword. That aura, that glow, that energy, could that be? Fried cheerfully, that's right, good opportunity, I'd like to try something to return the favor. I want to compare your piece of shit demonic sword with my holy sword Excalibur. Kiba's fury increases. Now die. Fried lunges straight at him with a vertical thrust, and Kiba blocks it instantly. Your beautiful face will be ruined, it's starting to look like it was made to be prey to this Excalibur. Kiba is fed up with Fried. Shut your mouth you piece of shit, he pushes him away. Freed in a deep voice, "You have a very dirty mouth for such a pretty face, don't you?" Kiba casts a spell, Holy Eraser. A demonic sword with a dark blade that devours holy energy and other light sources. The sword can also create multiple appendages that extend to absorb long-range light. However, he is not strong enough to absorb the sacred energy of a true holy sword, since when he tries to absorb the sword's energy the attack dissipates almost automatically. "Oh yeah, that's not going to work, what a shame," Freed says smugly. "Kiba, I was just testing your sword, I wanted to know if it was real or not. Now that I know it's authentic, I won't hesitate to break you and your sword." A clash ensued between them, but in his fury, Kiba lowered his guard and received a cut. However, since it came from the sacred sword, it felt as if his arm had been ripped off, causing him to fall to his knees. "This sword was made to kill the damned demons, understand?" Kiba, furious, "I know that," as if I'd forget, with a swift movement sweeps Freed's feet away, knocking him to the ground. "Cheater," says Freed playfully. Kiba performing a horizontal thrust, "I'm a demon, aren't I?" Although Freed dodges Kiba a couple of times, a magic circle appears in his ear. "Time out little pup, someone's calling me, so I'll see you later." Drop a light bomb to escape the scene. Kiba holsters his weapon and sighs deeply. "It's a bit rude to peek in the dark, Uzumaki-sama." Naruto emerges from the shadows holding an umbrella. "I didn't mean to be rude by interrupting the fight, but I noticed you weren't the one who just fought. Would you like to share what's happening with you?" Kiba gives a slight bow and turns away. "I'm sorry Uzumaki-sama, I don't want to involve you in my problems. It's something I have to resolve on my own, or I'll never live in peace. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll take my leave." Naruto, "Maybe we don't talk much Kiba, but I want you to remember this, asking for help doesn't make you weaker, so if you need help don't hesitate to ask me, I'm always willing to help." He throws an umbrella that he summoned from one of his storage seals on his sleeve and Kiba catches it. Kiba sighs in relief, a part of him knows that Naruto's words come from his heart. After all, RIAS told him that Naruto is a completely selfless being when it comes to helping others. "Thank you from the bottom of my heart," he says, leaving with the umbrella Naruto gave him. Naruto stares at the cloudy ground. "Why do I have a feeling that trouble has just begun?" Meanwhile, at the Hokage Tower. "Sentoki, it's taking a long time." Sentoki is a fire monk who wears the typical robes of the fire temple monks and as such has his head shaved to zero. On his head he has a scratch that goes from his ear to his forehead. His eyes are black. "Kakashi, calm down, he's not one to usually arrive late. If he hasn't arrived he had a good reason. Anyway, I've already sent several exorcists to help deal with this issue." Sentoki, "I know, but these demons are out of their element. They were intelligent and very calculating, they didn't make any moves in vain. It's the first time I've seen anything like this. We were able to control the situation, but it's the first time we've faced intelligent demons, and apparently, they aren't the only ones. After what happened with the Akatsuki attack, our numbers were reduced very significantly. We don't have enough members to deal with the situation." Kakashi, "And I know that very well, that's why I want you to relax and drink the cup of tea I gave you. I know where they're coming from, we'll have the situation under control." Sentoki sighs, "Then I'll take his word for it if he's so sure of it." He takes a sip of his tea. Kakashi tries to drink from his cup but sees that it cracks and mentally says, "Just what I needed. And where are you Naruto? We need to resolve this as soon as possible because what I'm feeling right now about the current situation is not pleasing me at all." Meanwhile, deep within the forest of the Land of Fire, Sasuke Uchiha is confusedly killing a horde of demons that look like shadows and are intelligent enough to be considered thinking beings. Sasuke wears a large, tattered brown poncho with a hood and multiple necklaces. He also wears a black cloth headband. Underneath his poncho, he wears a black collared shirt, black bandages around his wrists and up to his forearms, gray pants, and black sandals with gray bandages. After Sasuke finished eradicating the horde, leaving only one who appeared to be the leader alive, he grabbed him by the neck and said, "Are you going to tell me what you're doing here?" "Demon, I won't tell you, just kill me, you'll do it anyway." Sasuke, "Indeed, but the point here is, how quickly do you want your death to be?" The demon swallows hard, knowing that a worse fate probably awaits him. End of chapter. Chapter 26 Increase of the Problem. The day after what happened with Kiba, Naruto is working, heading to the fire temple after hearing what happened, and this was exactly what Naruto feared, the presence of demons from Rias's world in his own. They arrived at the place to see the damned demons. Follow me this way, Naruto-san. He nodded and followed him to what appeared to be a prison. The other fire monks allowed him entry until he reached a cell. This is the leader, we had to kill the rest as a precaution. Naruto stared at him, confused. They didn't seem to be from RIAS's world, but neither were they from this one. Where did you and your men come from? Demon, I didn't tell them, why do you think I'd tell you? Naruto wasn't in the mood to put up with this kind of crap. Under different circumstances, he might have asked them to talk things out nicely, but this business of intelligent demons in his world had him completely on edge ever since he learned about his daughter, and he wasn't going to tolerate such arrogance from these guys. Naruto activates 6 Paths Sage mode and with a flick of his wrists grabs him by the neck, throws a flying thunder kunai to the ground and snaps his fingers to appear next to the demon on the moon. Right below him is a flying thunder god kunai left by his clone when he fought the guy who lives here. The demon was in total shock upon seeing himself on Earth's moon and began to run out of oxygen. Naruto began speaking to him telepathically using a jutsu he had learned from Ibiki for interrogations. Well, now you'll tell me why you were here, or I'll throw you into the void of space, completely handcuffed. So either you tell me why you're here, or you'll suffocate and your body will float eternally in the void of space. Demon is frightened at the thought of drifting aimlessly in infinite space, and Naruto's gaze makes it clear that he is very willing to carry out his threat. However, he is not willing to speak. It doesn't matter, you'll kill me anyway, so I'll die without being a snitch. Naruto, serious, well, I guess it'll have to be the hard way. Naruto activates the Flying Thunder Lord Jutsu again and takes it to Konoha. At the prison gates, 2 ninjas appear in front of Naruto, looking at the strange being he's holding by the neck. What do you need, Naruto-sama? Naruto hands the demon over to one of them. Hello, I want you to interrogate him, who he is, where he comes from, who sent him, everything. Tell Ibiki that I don't care what methods you use, you're free to use any method. The 6th Hokage won't mind. Jounin, understood, looks at the demon. Surely they gave you the easy route, too bad for you, something much worse awaits you here than where you came from. Takes him inside. Naruto returns to the fire temple. Well, says one of the monks present, he didn't want to talk, but I'm sure Ibiki will make him sing. For now, be alert in case more of them appear. Fill the forest with traps if necessary. Sentoki, understood, and what will you do, Naruto-sama? Naruto, I'll go to the land of demons to ask if they know about these intelligent demons. If they know anything important, I'll let you know. Sentoki nods. Naruto started running to the land of demons because, despite getting along well with Cheyenne and having good relations with them, they prefer that no one enters simply by teleporting into their territory. 4 hours later, Naruto arrives in the land of demons, in the capital, to speak with the priestess. He is greeted by the guards who grant him access after identifying him as the authentic one. Naruto moves through the enormous cathedral until he reaches a room where Cheyenne's advisor awaits him. His name is Shiro Fujimoto, his uncle. He is a tall, thin man of medium build. At 51 years of age, he has always demonstrated great mastery in combat and manages to defend himself and his companions from demons. Shiro would look younger if it weren't for his light gray hair and elderly facial features, but overall he looked like he could pass for a man in his 40s. His hairstyle is messy. Shiro also has a goatee and some stubble along his lower chin and upper lip. The most notable feature that Shiro possesses is the cross as a scar. As an exorcist, Shiro wore a black coat and a rosary-shaped bead, but as he aged, he began to resemble a regular priest much more. Shiro wore a variety of necklaces and crosses on his robes as a sign that he was an exorcist. One of those necklaces has been modified into a weapon that he uses to stab demons in the chest. Shiro also wore another short necklace with a key wrapped around it. In general terms, despite being a priest and an exorcist, he is like a Jiraiya but much gentler and calmer. Naruto didn't have the opportunity to meet him the first time they came because he was substituting for his older sister while Cheyenne was being prepared for the position. Shiro with a huge smile, hello Naruto-chan, it's been a long time since I've seen you. Naruto cheerfully, come on Shiro-san, it's only been a couple of months since I last asked you for help. Shiro, well, that's a long time for this old guy. Anyway, did the jutsu work for you? Naruto, yes, everything went well, thank you very much. Shiro puts on a knowing smile, well, when are you going to make me a grandfather? Naruto, confused, excuse me, Shiro, what did you promise my niece? I've been waiting 3 years to become a grandfather. Since I couldn't have children, the only way I can become a grandfather is through Cheyenne, so tell me when you'll come and take her hand and give her the respectful. Naruto, embarrassed, please, don't do it that way, don't forget you're an exorcist priest. Shiro, huh? I'm too old for that nonsense, I just want to be a grandfather. Naruto, embarrassed, said, well, you see, there's a situation that prevents me from doing that, and we can leave it for another time. We have more important things to talk about, and besides, talking about it is embarrassing. Shiro sighs, alright, fine. Now, will you tell me what you needed them for? I had to lie to my niece about the use of those seals, and you gave me your word. Naruto scratches his head, yes, I'll tell you, but before that I'd like to know if you know anything about the appearances of intelligent demons. Shiro sighs, are they in the land of fire too? Naruto nods. Shiro becomes serious, to be honest, we haven't been able to figure out where they're coming from, but these demons are definitely not from our world. Someone or something is sending them here looking for something, but we don't know what it is, and every time we find a clue or trace, it's destroyed by them. Whoever is sending them is being very cautious about it, and these demons are demonstrating absolute loyalty. Naruto, serious, I see, so it's a problem that has spread everywhere. Shiro, it seems so, and something tells me you know where they might be coming from. Naruto sighs and nods, explaining everything that has happened so far, the encounter with his daughter, his demon mother, the Crow Syndicate, the other world, the raiding game, everything he has been able to learn from them, and even summoning some frogs that gave more detailed information about the events. The conversation lasted around 14 hours about everything discovered so far and what remains to be discovered about the demons on the other side. But even lacking information on fallen angels, all other religious pantheons, and a long, etc. Shiro, serious, processing all the information as best he could, wow, when they told me you were always getting into trouble, I didn't think they meant trouble as big as this. Naruto, that's something I've always hated about myself, no matter what I do or where I go, problems always find me. Shiro, well, what will you do? We can't allow the situation with the intelligent demons to get out of control, the last thing we need is for the intelligent ones to take control of those in our world. Naruto, serious, I will send investigators to RIAS's world to find information about these recent appearances of these demons and stop her as soon as possible. For now, I have to ask you to speak with the daimyo to put control over the demons and minimize the damage they cause as much as possible. If you tell them it's my instruction, they will ask for confirmation from the sixth, who will realize what we are trying to do and give the go-ahead for them to help the elemental temples that are not used to dealing with demons. Shiro, serious, I'll have to talk to my niece about this, and that includes your daughter and her mother, you understand that, right? Naruto sighs, I was planning to tell her anyway, I just hope she doesn't want to rip my head off. Shiro, she'll probably want to rip something else off you. Naruto shudders, but knowing my niece, she'll still demand you keep your word. Naruto, really? Shiro nods, she's as stubborn as my sister, and just as determined, so if she said you'd give her a child, she'll make you keep your word one way or another, you won't get away with it, I guarantee you. Naruto feels like a fragment of his soul is leaving his body from all the times he sighed in the last few months. This is going to be a headache. Shiro, a little playful, come on, you have what many men desire, on one side you have an angel and on the other a demon wanting a part of the same man, you should be happy. Naruto, highlighting a vein, I wish I were, but spending so much time with Jiraiya made me despise certain things. Shiro, when you're both in the same bed you won't think the same. Naruto, angry and blushing, can we change the subject? Shiro smiles at him brazenly, no. Naruto sighs and Shiro laughs in his face and remembers something. So all this, does anyone else know about your daughter's mother? I mean, her name and what she looks like. Naruto thinks, besides her name, I don't think so, the only ones who have seen her are Konohamaru's team, his father and the sixth Hokage, and obviously all the frogs and toads on Mount Myaboku. Shiro, are you keeping it hidden because you're afraid of what people think, or has the opportunity simply not arisen? Naruto, well, I haven't had the chance to do it yet, but I don't think it will be long before I do. Many people are already asking to meet her and they're becoming a real nuisance. Shiro, I see. As soon as that happens, I need you to bring her here. We'll need to talk to her to find out more about these demons and see if they're related. I don't want to blame your daughter's mother, but we need to rule out any possibility. Naruto nods, okay, that sounds good to me. Shiro, in that case, I'll prepare to tell Cheyenne all of this. You're lucky she's currently in the land of birds dealing with a recent demon attack, so by the time you meet, her anger about this girl named RIAS and your daughter will have subsided. Naruto gives a slight bow, thank you very much, I hope so, thank you for giving me some of your time, he extends his hand. Shiro, the pleasure is all mine, shakes his hand and Naruto heads back to Konoha to report to Kakashi. 5 hours later, Naruto returned to Konoha. He was tired, not because he had made a great effort, but because of the stress that all of this was causing him. Before he could lie down in his bed, he needed to inform Kakashi of the situation. Upon entering the office, he is surprised to see Tsunade there as well. Naruto, surprised, Oba-chan. Still here at this hour? Tsunade, yes, well, I'd be drinking and gambling right now if it weren't for Kakashi coming to tell me something. Naruto confused, something, Tsunade, about helping some demons with an incurable disease. Naruto swears his head in confusion, an incurable disease. To hell with it, Kakashi, it seems the girl hasn't told you, let me explain the situation. Naruto raises an eyebrow, not expecting this, and sighs, please, give me a break. Meanwhile, in the other world, 5 a.m. Issei is woken up by his personalized waifu alarm clock from his favorite series. Asia knocking on the door, Issei-kun, are you awake yet? Time to start morning training. Issei yawning, yes. I'm awake now, I'll be right down. Asia, understood, don't take too long, to withdraw. Issei, I'm so exhausted. I still haven't recovered from Naruto-senpai's extreme training, but it doesn't matter, I achieved my goal. He'll teach me how to camouflage myself and hide like a true ninja. I'll be able to spy and never be found by anyone, ha 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 ha. Then he hears a voice in his head, hey partner, sorry for interrupting your thoughts. Issei looks around thinking the voice is coming from somewhere else. Did you forget my voice, partner? Look, there's a green dot on his hand, Drake. Drake, you never stop thinking about women, huh? Issei gets annoyed, silence, I'm at that stage of my life, you're the one who interrupted me. Drake, stop complaining. I went out of my way just to warn you about 2 things. Issei is surprised, warnings. Drake, I've been feeling a force near you lately, I've been having trouble sleeping and I'm not talking about your president's husband, that guy knows how to hide his presence until it's practically non-existent. If this force were one of your friends, I wouldn't mind much. Issei attentively, so, are you saying he's an enemy? Drake, I don't know, I can only tell you to be careful, you never know when the target might attack you. Issei, confused, the white one. Now I remember hearing you talk about that before. Drake, the white dragon, vanishing dragon, Issei repeating the name in confusion, we are known as the 2 celestial dragons, but we never got along, the wielders of the 2 dragons are destined to kill each other. Issei, possessors. Are you saying there's another guy with a sacred gear like mine? Drake, that's right. Issei, and will I have to fight him at some point? Drake confirms it, damn it, why? Can't you two make peace like good rivals? Drake, we dragons are not like humans, we are too proud to accept something like that. Issei, serious, for being such powerful beings, I consider it foolish. But you know what, Drake? Let me tell you something. Drake, what? Issei clears his throat, I want to become a high-class demon and become the harem king. I'm going to have a multitude of girls as my servants and create my own brigade of cute girls, that's my dream. Drake starts laughing his head off, ha 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 ha. Issei gets annoyed, what are you laughing at? That's the truth, my harem will be the best that has ever existed. Drake, are you serious? Let me laugh even louder. Haha. Issei gets even angrier, HEY, stop laughing. Drake, this is the first time I've had a holder with a dream like that. Issei relaxes, does that make me weird? Drake, a little, yes, but it's a possible dream, the powers of a dragon can dominate and hypnotize those near you, although some may find it repulsive, many women find themselves bewitched and attracted. Issei gets excited, really? Drake, of course, my wielders have always been surrounded by women, but this is the first time one of them has been completely interested only in women. Issei cries tears of joy, I didn't know you were such a fabulous sacred gear. Drake, speaking of mood swings, but anyway, now listen, Issei pays attention, I want to tell you two things, don't forget the warning about the powerful force I told you about, and the second thing is that you shouldn't blindly trust Uzumaki Naruto. Issei, surprised, why is that? He's the president's husband and a really good guy. While it's true I wasn't thrilled to learn that the beautiful president is married with a daughter, the truth is Naruto is a really nice and cheerful guy, and he's helped me train ever since. And the daughter is such a sweet girl, she'll be the most beautiful of all when she's the president's age. I dare say she'll be even more beautiful. Drake, mate, that guy, as good a person as he is a womanizer. Issei confused, conqueror. Drake, that human is currently in a situation where he wants to get into more trouble, but the moment anyone tries to get too clever, he will destroy anyone who gets in his way. Issei, why do you think he would do something like that? Drake, because that's the nature of alphas like me or like that filthy fox called Kurama, they always mark their territory and whoever dares to disturb their peace will be consumed by them. Issei is surprised to hear that. At this moment all he seeks is tranquility in his life, but the events with that demon you call president plus what happened with her daughter and the mention of the concern that demons from this world will appear in his is only a matter of time before the fuse is lit and the bomb explodes and he decides to make it clear who is in charge here. Issei, worried, are you sure about that? Drake, yes, I can feel his anxiety and worry every time you meet with him. He's a walking time bomb and only needs a small spark to ignite him, so be careful, strengthen yourself as soon as possible because just as he is your friend today, tomorrow he can be your enemy, mark my words. At that, the glow in his hand stops. Issei pondered this and heard Asia's voice, you still have a long way to go. Issei snapped out of his trance, oh, sorry, I'm coming down now, preparing for his basic morning training. At the academy, Sona enters the council chamber with a completely serious face. She has had contact with two priestesses from the church, one of whom has a holy sword and wants to speak with RIAS. Upon examining the situation and the intentions of these two, she had no choice but to accept, as she also wants to know why they are there. Saji, good morning, Madam President. Sona, good morning, has anything come up? Saji, no, but someone has visited us wanting to speak with you. Sona raises an eyebrow, who? Saji steps aside to picture Kakashi having tea and some cheese crackers. Hello. Sona is surprised, 6th Saint. Tsubaki, good morning, 6th Sama. Sona, what has brought you here? Kakashi, why the coldness? Not even a good morning. Sona flinched slightly, embarrassed by her behavior. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be rude, I just didn't expect to see you here. Kakashi, I'm just kidding, don't take it so seriously, I came here personally to talk to you about your request. Sona's eyes widen as she sits down in front of Kakashi. Well, did she accept? Kakashi, more or less, she wants to meet you in person. Naruto spoke highly of you, but she's quite distrustful of everyone around Naruto. She wants to talk to you personally and then decide whether or not to help you. Sona, I understand, and when does she wish to speak? Kakashi, she doesn't have a fixed schedule since she retired as Hokage, so it's whenever you're available. Just tell one of the frogs with RIAS and they'll send the message. We'll have Naruto take you to her. Sona adjusts her glasses, I understand, thank you very much for giving me the information in person, as soon as I can arrange my schedule I will send you the meeting confirmation. Kakashi, just don't make her wait too long, she hates it when that happens. Sona, understood, I'll send the request as soon as possible. Kakashi eats his last cookie and drinks his tea through his mask, confusing Sona and the entire entourage who have been confused for a while about how he is able to eat through his mask. Kakashi stands up, very well, in this case that's all, I'll take my leave. Tsubaki, I have a question, 6th Sama. Kakashi looks at her, and that's her. Tsubaki, why did you come in person? Couldn't you have sent someone else? I mean, someone like you must be busy. Kakashi, to be frank, I did it to escape work for a while, I wanted to rest a bit and that's what I got. Tsubaki, with a bead of sweat, I understand. Kakashi, alright, time to go, those documents aren't going to fill themselves out. Sona gets up, thank you so much for everything, Sexto. Kakashi gestures, you don't have to give them to me, just be nice to him and you'll get what you want, so see you later, thanks for the cookies and tea. He snaps his fingers and disappears in a whirlwind. Saji, what a way to teleport, less flashy, but more effective. Ruruko, forget about that, how did he eat and drink tea with the mask on? Rhea, Could it have been face paint and not a mask? Saji, we'd know by our noses if it was paint or makeup. Momo, why do they make such a big deal out of that? Everyone was talking about it while Sona thought about what she would do once she met the fifth one, as well as the situation with the people from the church. Meanwhile, in the elemental nations, 9 p.m., Sasuke managed to extract some information from the demon he tortured for 7 hours, and searched for a place in the land of mountains for a meeting of these demons. He wanted to go unnoticed to spy on them, but his presence was too strong despite minimizing it to a minimum, as the demons detected him quickly. Sasuke killed them without the slightest effort until only 2 remained, who appeared to be the leaders of the group. They look like twins, but one has the colors reversed from the other. One's hair is mostly black with a white streak on the left side. He is wearing a black tuxedo, black bow tie, red and white shirt inside, and black shoes. His right eye is golden in color and his left eye is black with a red pupil and has a zigzag crack at the bottom of the left eye. She has a high-pitched voice. And the other one, his hair is mostly white with a black streak on the right. He is wearing a white tuxedo, white bow tie, red and black shirt underneath, and white shoes. His right eye is black with a red pupil and a zigzag crack at the bottom of his right eye, while his left eye is golden in color. She has a deeper voice. Sasuke, before I kill you, tell me what you're doing here. The man in the black suit speaks. Wow, the humans here are really arrogant. The one in the white suit speaks. Well, arrogance is universal and unanimous for any species. Anyway, if you want information you have to ask for it politely. A lightning bolt strikes between them, which they barely manage to dodge. White suit, how rude. Black suit, it seems we need to give you manners lessons. Sasuke, how about you stop the theatrics and just tell me what I want? I promise to give you a quick death. White suit, if you want the information you have to come and get it. Sasuke, better for me, charges at them, both demons waiting, ready to attack. What's happening in the world of Naruto? End of chapter.